Okay, welcome back to Yamcha Sessions. Today we have Ken and Shafeeqa.
Hello.
Two good friends of mine from the past. Actually, technically, we're all South Janian.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so a bit of introduction. I think Ken is, I think if you watch his previous podcast, it was more on his career in the restaurant business.
Yes.
And since then, you've taken a bit of, I wouldn't say a change of direction, but more of like, you can do two things at once, I suppose, right? So you focus a lot on home interior stuff as well.
Yeah, reno, interior, a bit of architecture.
Yeah, okay. And Shafeeqa here is an architect / ID.
Yes.
Yes. So the reason why we have this podcast today is so that we can talk about the ins and outs of interior design / architecture and the little nitty-gritty things that maybe people don't talk about.
Yes.
So normally if you hear Yi Heng's podcast or you hear Yi Heng, he talks about property itself. But he does touch on like the nitty-gritty stuff sometimes,
bit, yeah.
sometimes. But now we go into the nittier and grittier stuff. Yeah. So maybe we do a little bit of introductions per person first, and then at least people have an idea, right? So I start with Ken, right? So how did you get into the interior design and home ownership content thing?
I think this started probably a year ago. It started as something that was just purely... there's two things. Number one was there was a curiosity just to find out whether one could actually make money from social media or not. So that was one of that. And then secondly, I just wanted to just talk about my opinions about this renovations, design. Because for most people, I think, the average person will probably only do 1 or 2 renovations in their entire life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? And for me, I think I'm a bit luckier or unlucky, if you call it. I do more than the average because I do reno for most of my businesses. So
Yes.
I think what I was trying to do was just to kind of communicate what my contractors or my interior designers or architects normally, like they say a lot of things that the average person would not understand. So what I basically do is to break it down into layman's term and kind of like explain it in ways that people would understand. And it was based on these things that I wish I knew earlier. So things that I've learned along the way. So it was just that, and then kind of just building a following on social media to find out whether, is it still possible to make money on social media today or not? So there was just that two things. So and reno and design was something that I was already interested in, and I was doing my house at the time. So it was probably one of the easiest things for me to record, just produce, and then publish. So
I think I met you at Sunday Cafe. That's when you were like looking at your housing plans.
Yes,
Now that you bring that up, oh my god, yeah. But I think a lot of your content is very easy to digest.
So do you have any background in like looking at plans, studying?
No, I just learned it along the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
But that's why he's Satya, bro. Satya is the first class in Saujana again. That's why. All right. Okay. Maybe I go to Shafeeqa, right?
Yeah.
I know that we went to Taylor's together and everything, but I was in the American degree program, and you were doing architecture at the time, right? And that's how you know our friend Bay also.
Yes.
Yeah, but how did you get into architecture and then made your way into interior design?
So it's always been something that I was interested in. Doing buildings. I love looking at interesting buildings.
Okay.
I love the play of light and shadows, play of materials. So architecture was something I really loved. But then once I've gone into architecture, I realized how rigid it is.
Oh.
It's so rigid. And especially in Malaysia, it's very, very rigid.
Yeah.
So I got an apprentice job with my dad's friend.
Oh, sure.
He's an ID. So that's when I started to fall in love with ID.
But for the layman, right? Like what's the difference between an architect and an ID?
Actually, if someone were to ask me, should I take architecture or should I take ID? I would always say architecture because architects, they can do both. ID, you cannot go into architecture.
Fair point.
I see.
But for a client, like let's say I want to do reno, like should I get architect?
ID or
should I
architect?
get both? Like,
okay, it depends on what kind of jobs you want to do. If it includes doing something that have to be submitted to the majlis, like a renovation that has to be a extra foundation need to be laid, new structures to be laid, you need an architect.
I see.
Because they have to sign it off.
I see.
They have to know the rules. That
fire
goes with
laws.
Yes, everything.
Yeah.
But if it's just an internal, if it's just a basic touch out on the outside that does not involve any structures, ID is the way to go. And sometimes people picked up contractors, but that's another whole story lah. Contractors and ID.
That's my life.
Yeah.
That is literally my life. Because
Yes.
when I did my place, I got a contractor, and then the guy was like saying, "Don't worry about it.
You don't need an ID.
I have a contact." And then he got a contact for some reason because I was extending my house. And then that contact somehow just signed off.
Okay. That's something. Yeah, that's the hidden part of construction.
I think
guess.
that's what we should and probably want to discuss today,
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, there are some topics that when you said okay, we want to talk about ID works, and I remember I saw a post on Twitter about a couple who shared their construction ID works of their apartment on TikTok,
Okay.
and it got viral. So people were asking, "Oh shit, can I get the numbers of the contractor?" But what I saw was they were covering sprinklers, fire sprinklers on your ceiling, which is bad.
Oh, sure.
Don't cover it up. So I questioned them. I retweeted and replied the tweet. I said, "What about those sprinklers that you covered?"
Oh, shit.
And that tweet got deleted.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I know. So when you studied all these things, you notice the things that people don't. People see the pretty part, but they don't see the safety part of things.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
the mad way. I didn't even
Yeah.
consider that shit, man.
Yes.
So it happens all the time, right?
Yeah.
So are contractors architects or
No.
are they interior designers?
No. Some
They pretend to be both.
IDs, yes. Some IDs end up becoming contractors. Yeah.
Okay.
But contractors are usually the ones that say, "Alah, boleh lah.
So
you
yeah,
know,
what
can
if
lah."
it's like John's case where the guy just say like, "Oh, I'll get it done," but there is actually a signature that approves it, right? Like there is with
There's
DPL.
paperwork lah.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
paperwork that's done. So
Okay.
is there something to be afraid of? Like,
Sometimes, I know someone lah on the inside, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, those kind of thing. I know someone on the inside.
That's exactly
Can lah,
what the
can lah.
contractor said.
Yeah.
He told me
Yeah.
like he has a contact.
Unfortunately lah, the Malaysia is still very corrupted, so still get passed by. Closer.
Oh, for the
Yeah.
camera? Yeah, okay.
Alright.
Wow, that's damn wild, man.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. Okay. But so basically you were doing architecture and you realized it was too rigid and then that's
Yes.
why you moved into ID
Yeah,
lah.
yeah.
Okay. Actually, I find that interesting, right? Even Uran says that.
Yeah.
Uran is an
It's-
architect.
yeah.
And he's like, bro, most of the time, you just like moving shit around.
Yeah.
Make sure the pillar is not there.
Yeah.
And it's like damn boring. Lah.
Because I think in
Boring.
reality,
Yeah, it is boring.
If you think
Actually.
about it, also I think what she mentioned by rigid is the fact that there's just
There's a lot of rules.
yeah, like that's
Rules are
one, and I think the rigidity also comes from the fact that your options of jobs is limited.
That's
Am I
another
rough-
thing.
am I
That's
roughly
another
right as
thing
well?
about architecture, the payment that's been going around that everyone know is like you work blood, sweat and tears, but you're getting peanuts for it. So if anyone thinks that architects make big bucks, they don't.
Wow, that's quite
don't.
tragic, right?
Yeah.
But I heard that, okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, right? And I've spoken to Uran about this as well. It's kind of like the early stages are quite a grind, right? Because you have to work on projects you don't want to work on. That's
Yes.
one. And then number two, it's also, you have to do your part 1, part 2, and part 3.
Yes.
So your part 3 is actually where you earn the biggest bucks, right? It's the sign off.
Yes, this is where that's where you get the big bucks and also the biggest responsibility is on your shoulder. lah.
Yeah. And obviously, like if you screw up on your part 3, I mean, you complete your part 3, but you screw up on the signing because you didn't really check everything, then
Yeah.
I think it could be quite bad.
Your
lah.
name is on the line once you sign. So if anything happened, they would start tracing back
Yes.
whoever that's on the project.
Yes. So he was saying that, you just need to do your part 3. So it's not to discourage you from not being an architect. It's just that the grind is real and you
Yes.
normally have to work while doing your part 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have a logbook to actually complete.
That's ridiculous, man. That's so brutal, man. Or you could own your own firm lah. And then you have your
So-
own
After that, you can, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
I have a lecturer who has a part 3, but he completed it in the States.
Oh shit.
It's not recognized here. Yeah. Yes, it's not recognized here. So what he has to do is he has to get someone who can sign off his project.
What's the
Yeah.
point of doing the part 3
Yeah.
lah like that?
It's sad actually, but
You mean the
do
whole
that.
time he was doing it, he didn't like go like, maybe he's not recognized way.
I don't know lah. I honestly don't know.
But I know people who in
asked
accounting
him.
do the same thing, I have a friend, his sister did accounting in the US, and then she came back, she's like, oh shit, can you use accounting here? Accounting in the US is different.
Yeah.
I'm like,
But it's logical, right? Like, because you study different things, the rules, regulations.
yeah, but I mean, like,
Yes.
in that whole time you're doing it, you never really thought like,
Oh shit, I should have stopped midway or like
I
first
feel,
sem
I
and
feel
moved
it's one
back.
of those things where you got your exam, right? They ask you to write a karangan about whatever. you wrote the whole karangan, 600 characters.
then it says
That is
just-
it's the wrong topic. Then.
Yeah.
Bro, that one is ridiculous.
That feeling you have, right? It's
similar,
exactly
yeah.
the same.
It's similar, yeah.
You're like, hey, shit, I need to answer the questions here. Oh, man, too late.
Oh my
Then
god.
it's better to just complete it. Then they just complete it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess, yeah.
You could seek opportunity there, I suppose. Okay. Maybe we can touch on a little bit on your experiences with clients, right? Because so when you transition from architecture to ID, was there any like, oh, okay, I'm just officially going to join an ID company, or was it within the company of doing architecture that you do ID, that type of thing?
No, I've never ever. The only time I've worked as an architect was during internship.
Okay.
Other than that, I've always been in ID.
In ID lah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh wow. Okay. So
Yeah.
you basically after that this ID all the way.
ID all the way. ID all the way. I just have a cert say architect, but I'm officially just an ID.
Oh damn.
Okay.
All right. Okay. But what are some of the experiences that you've dealt with clients when it comes to ID? Because okay, are you allowed
Cover
to
up my
say?
face.
Oh, shit lah. You have to be politically correct lah. Okay. But I think Ken also has experiences with contractors and
I'm mostly the client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So
Maybe
So I'll ask you client
side of
based
based questions.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you can give like a horror story, if you will, then of like what is a horror story that you can remember of?
Oh dang.
Oh dang, you can.
I pray to God they don't watch. So I had a client who he's very particular about water ponding. We did an outdoor extension, like a kitchen hangout, like a dining area, and then he said, "Gotta make sure that there's no water ponding on tiles." Okay, the way how our tilers do it here is he keeps saying like typical Malaysian style for doing things. He's a foreigner.
Okay.
So we had to change a particular spot of the tiles like 3 to 4 times. Like
3 to 4 times.
pecahkan, pasang balik. He doesn't like it because he's water like it's how if you spilled a cup of water, the amount that's on the floor.
Yeah.
He said no ponding, take it off.
As in,
Take it off.
So what you're trying to say is kind of like if the ground is
Yeah,
flat and then if
yes.
you pour water, there is like a pond of water. Is that what ponding
because
means?
it's outside. Because it's that's what I mean. Sorry, that's what I mean by ponding on the tile.
Okay,
So
okay.
sometimes, some tiles are uneven. Even if you try to lay it, if it's a handmade tile, especially handmade tile, the surface will be smooth.
Oh.
So some parts of the tile will have a dip. So that's where water will pond.
okay.
So technically, it's not our fault or the contractor's fault when they lay tile. When they lay tile, they use a water level to check, and you need a certain degree to get
gradient,
yes,
right?
a gradient, a 10%, I think, a gradient for water to slide off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a gradient. So, but because of the tile is handmade tiles, the surface is
uneven.
not. Yeah, so it keeps ponding at that spot because of how uneven the tile was.
Oh.
He kept saying, just take it off.
But then if you keep removing also, you keep replacing with a new tile that's uneven also, right? Then it's the same
hard,
story,
it's
right?
hard, yeah. And it's up to a point that the contractor got mad at me because I keep saying take it off because the client says take it off. Like, to me, with contractors, it's always you work with me, it's never work for me. We need to get this done. Let's like work together, get this shit done,
So what was the solution? Like
Up to a point, he just like, fuck it.
Oh,
Leave it lah.
he just left it.
You know,
lah.
it's as simple as just like take your, the scraper, the water floor scraper, just like, That's it.
just hack it through, lah, right?
yeah, just use your water scraper. If your floor
push
is
the
wet,
water
you
lah.
push the water out.
I see.
It's outside, and it's just like at the edge of where the grass meets the tiles. You just
Just push it off, lah.
push it off. Yeah,
Wow.
because if you keep doing it over and over, it's like insanity. You don't get the same. It's the same results over and over.
Yeah.
But
You could just change the tile.
it's all done. It's so pretty. It's all done. It's really pretty.
Man.
But because of one corner,
Oh.
But that's interesting because as long as the contractor normally does it according to, if there's no gradient, then it's a
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
But like usually, if it's done within the tolerance level,
Yeah.
then it needs to be accepted.
yes.
I believe that's what the
Because
general rules are.
The world is not perfect. As much as you want it to,
Yeah.
there are some things that
There are
is out of our
imperfections.
control.
Yeah. I actually find, right, that the Malaysian situation when it comes to contractors is so strange, because when I was doing my house, right, at that time, my mom and my grandma is the one that recommended the contractor to me
Okay.
because they were like, oh, word of mouth. This guy.
It's not like
is-
they've done it before, like
no,
for your
no,
house.
No,
okay.
no, never. So he was saying, just get this guy. It's good price, right? It's always about a
Price,
good
yeah.
price.
Price
one.
lah, it's always
yeah,
about price.
Yeah. Then after that, right, when you see the stuff that he does, right, I find like
Then you realize, no wonder good price.
But you know, it's also because right, we didn't have an ID, so I wanted to like have Yuren help me with the architecture and all that. My mom was like, no lah, we just do it ourselves only. Then I was like, oh man, this is going to be tough lah, because you don't have someone overseeing the contractor, which is the biggest freaking problem. You know,
this is what we had another client who hired us for design works. So we offer designing, we offer overseeing, and we offer furnishing. So you could do all complete set till the end, A to Z. It's all us. But this guy, he wanted to cut corners. And then he said, okay lah, we just hire you for design work. I have my own contractors and I'll be the one overseeing. So at the end, we hand over the design work. But I still have to follow up with him because sometimes he has questions about things. And then I asked him, how's the progress? He said, about 80% done, but this is it. I'm done. It's so tiring.
It's damn tiring, man.
Client don't realize.
But like, how do you do halfway? Like
you just submit the design.
You just submit the design, and then they say, okay, we approve all the design. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
So that should be the end of your job.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yeah. But she also like that. Your company, right? Offered also like the oversight.
Yes.
So it's kind of like I go visit, go and see and shit like that.
That's
right?
usually like if people get an ID, they want that.
They want.
This is surprising that they don't want
because
that.
they wanted to save cost.
Yeah.
How much cheaper would you even, how much can you even reduce from?
I don't know. I honestly, because I don't take care of the costing and
Oh,
budgeting,
I see.
so I cannot chip in into that. Yeah.
So my mom and I used to oversee it. Oversee is quote and unquote. Okay. So what I would do is, I think Ken would know. I think we went for a few runs that year as well when my house was going up. So I used to run by. I run by that place. I go inside the house, make one round, and like I thought, okay lah, I think can pass lah.
Yeah.
Right.
But you don't even know what you're looking for,
at.
right? Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So I only towards the very end, right, I started to notice things like how come the tiles, right, are just like so freaking weird. So if you go to the corner of my house, right, you will see a triangle tile, although it's all rectangles.
Eh?
And I'm just like, how the fuck?
How?
Yeah, I'm like, how do you get a triangle tile in the end there? And then I spoke to the contractor. I was like, why is it so weird? And then he told me, obviously in broken English, he was like, no, your house not straight. Your house isn't straight. I mean, houses are naturally straight, but like technically, bro, didn't you just like fucking arrange it and then like But no, man, this guy just did it first and then like, oh shit, one mini triangle. Just cut the tile.
You know,
and
as
put
a client, you could have just said to him, take it off.
Oh my god,
Could have, actually.
Shafeeqa, if I did that, right, I cannot move in time, and then I cannot meet my feng shui time, and I cannot meet my feng shui time. My mom's gonna be angry at me, and then that's it lah. Ricochet lah. My whole next year is gonna be a fuckfest lah. But luckily, I didn't do that. You know why? COVID happened. Bro.
Dude, COVID impacted a lot of IDs and the construction.
Was it?
A lot, yeah.
So that was and you know, in the end, my contractor passed away some more.
What?
Bad karma.
Yeah. No, I think he passed away. I think last year he just passed away only
Not because of COVID.
Not because of COVID, but I think I suspect so contractors in Malaysia aren't exactly the healthiest.
Yeah,
So they smoke like chimneys, they drink like
not just
facials.
smoking like cigarette chimneys, the amount of paint fumes, amount of dust
asbestos.
and
They do a lot of shit lah,
But
right?
no building is built without cigarettes.
Confirm.
True.
Confirm. Even I am guilty of that. I go there and I was smoking with him so that I could be like friends with him.
Yeah.
So hopefully he don't cheat me.
but I think like even in your case, right? I think there's a problem with just the idea of the clients as well. Like being a client, every time people just blame contractor, right? Contractor is very broad based, like word, right? Most of the time is one subcontractor will have a problem. Let's say tiling, right? In your case, I think maybe the tiler is the problem, not really just the contractor.
Was that a one-man?
Yeah.
But I suspect that this is under him because he was hiring workers to do the tiles.
I see.
Yeah, so it's very likely a subcontractor.
Yeah. So wait, you hired one guy who hired other people to do
Probably lah. But he is supposed to be there to kind of oversee because that's why he's a contractor. But he was there the whole time. He's always there. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's only like, because I went to Japan and then I came back, I'm like, the tiles are done already. Then oh, cool. But only when you go inside the room,
you see.
then I see that triangle tile. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
But like what he just gave you an excuse lah, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What
Was
to
it
do?
in a corner where like you see it, but then like towards the year you just forget about it, or is this always there? You just see it, you know?
Okay. So there are two things in my house I feel that like really irk me. So one is that triangle tile, but I never see it because I kind of put like a cupboard over it.
Okay,
I'm like,
smart.
thank fuck. Right? But then now when I do push-ups on the ground, like let's say I work out at home, rushing for work, I will see, right, there's a gap there's bigger and then smaller and then like medium and then
It's
bigger.
the grouting, is
The
it?
grout is
grouting,
uneven.
yeah.
Wow. Every time I do a push up, I look at it, I'm like, I think I'm going to the gym lah. I can't do this, man. Fucking hell,
Usually,
man.
to do tiling and grouting, you would have a spacer. You put a spacer.
Ah.
If you see in the States, they have those orange fancy spacers. Here, they just like whatever that you have.
Sapu,
they use,
sapu,
and then they,
letak.
okay, what if it's a stick? Okay, it's a stick that they will use all the way. So yeah.
It's,
Just
it's the
find-
measurement tool they use.
Yes.
I
They
see,
don't
for
have like a
consistency.
standard measuring.
But
Maybe some do.
I mean, like that's the difference between like if you get a good tiler
Yeah.
and you get one that is cheap.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's just the reality of it, and I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
people don't realize that. And I think here's the problem: like there's a lot of assumption. Like you just assume they will do it,
Yeah.
but most of the time they will cut corners because it's
Yeah.
cost what you buy
Yeah.
that piece of plastic, right? Like that's the expensive
yeah.
spaces.
It's time
and-
also.
Yeah, and for them to do it, it's just easier without, right?
Yeah. It's
So just-
faster. To them, it's like faster. I can just eyeball it, you know.
So, but is this then right? Let's say,
Worth-
for instance, is this the ID's responsibility or
check.
is this the client should point out? Because and also I think the follow up question would be like, how often does the ID,
Come
let's say
and check, is
you how often do you site visit with the client, without the client? Like what is
with
usually the
client,
schedule?
There are projects with client that's rarely. There are clients that stays in the house, so
Oh, you-
constantly
Okay,
over
yeah,
your
right.
shoulder.
Oh, it's a dependent on the,
Yes.
the client.
So what about like your part? Like how often do you check from
Me,
like if you supervise
sometimes
the project?
on a daily. Yeah, sometimes on a daily.
daily, ah?
Some projects just weekly,
Okay.
some bi-weekly, but some projects daily.
Oh, I
But what-
suppose it's the cost lah.
But then
Depends,
how would the client know? Like, do you say this upfront? Like, how like do you update the client weekly or like? Cause,
Yeah, we have to.
Because I think here's the problem. I think a lot of times clients don't know what to expect even.
Yeah.
Like I've obviously worked with multiple IDs,
Yeah.
right? The more famous one normally the problem is they visit once 3 weeks.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Once every 3 weeks?
Yeah, maybe.
Bro,
Yeah,
in 3
something
weeks,
like
it could be a different building.
But
maybe.
3 weeks, I've never heard 3 weeks. 2 weeks, that's max.
2 weeks, 3 weeks. The reality is this, right? What happens, let's say, right? I hire you, right? You come one day, let's say 1 week,
Yeah.
right? The tile is done,
Yeah.
right? And all, let's say, the grout gaps are all uneven, right? And the termination is not nice, whatever, right? Who's responsible?
I would say ID because they did not check.
Yeah.
I would say
Would the contractor redo it?
contractor. If you say to redo, they will, but of course with charge lah.
Who bonds who bears these charges?
ID.
Oh my God.
Right? Supposedly, right?
Yes.
But no ID would ever do it. Man. Nobody bears
Hence
it.
why, okay, talking about tiles and redoing. So tiles, when you buy them a lot with wastages.
Yeah. To account for
Yeah.
wastage.
So usually they will count, the tilers who sells it will calculate for you. Like 10%. It's always a 10% wastage that you have to include in your purchase.
I see.
But you have to know that if you run out or something happens during installation, you have to buy new tiles to add on. You're going to get different batches and colors are going to be different.
Oh my
Correct.
God.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
That
didn't
is
know.
inconsistent.
So
Oh my God.
the one house that we did, it was just a small kitchen tile as a hexagon tile. So we got 2 batches apparently. And I came that day and then, okay, I see he was doing the tile. So I said, I'll come again tomorrow. And I come back, it's done. I was like, why are the tiles in 2 different shades? It's white, but one is grayer.
Oh no.
And he said, I don't know. And I just laid it down.
Yeah, he just
Yeah,
picked it up
it's-
and laid lah.
Yeah, contractors are like that. Once they get shit to do, they just do it. I see it. The color is different, but I will not question. I will not say. I will not update. I will not ask.
Maybe they think they can get away with it.
They
Wait,
think,
so what happens then?
take it off.
Uh-huh.
I called the supplier. I show them these tiles are in 2 different colors. I ordered at the same time, so they have to replace it free of charge. The
That one
tiles,
definitely
yeah.
lah.
But what if it's
But-
a top up?
Top up is a
Oh.
VO that you have to add on.
No, as in like let's say budgeted wrong, right?
Yeah,
And then
it's a client. It's ID fault calculation.
you see,
wise.
actually you think about it, ID is supposed to be responsible, but very often the ID,
ID.
pushes this like
Yeah.
our contractor like that.
Ah.
They will say,
Yeah.
like
So
maybe
this is
when
where,
when they lay the tiles, breakage very high, so then now need to order new batch come color different, right? So then how? Whose fault?
So far,
Bro, I
I've
duke out everybody lah. Fuck off lah.
I've never actually said that. Oh shit! Contractor, client will have to be responsible for this. No, first you have to go to the supplier. why do we get different batches?
You're
Because-
solving it from the cause, lah.
Yes,
I suppose.
you have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
because they have to say or they have to check before they release the
Yeah,
tiles to
definitely,
you.
man.
Why would they give you a different colored tiles
yeah.
when you say we want this
No,
specific color?
as in, I'm just talking about same tile, different batch. The color tone is surely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure different. Even if it's the same exact, supposedly same
But
tile.
if your contractor, you get the smart one, young, no need to ask you shit. They see different color. I know underneath this is it's gonna be underneath the cabinet. Put it there.
Yes.
No one will see it.
So,
You
like,
know.
and you can tell,
Yeah.
Like for me, like my tile even if it's a tile, like my tile has like some grains on the tile, like kind of like stone.
Okay.
Right? I asked the contractor, he's like, he spent one day just segregating the tiles.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
He's just
wow.
he's just opening every box and then
Yeah.
just looking at the grains of the tile.
To
And
match,
then- Yeah, so you kind of want like
You have the pattern, right?
you kind of
have
like
the pattern.
match the
Yeah.
pattern.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
And then obviously this is work one. Who would do it, right? So a good tiler would.
Yeah.
Like, typically, if they care about their job, they would.
Yes.
And then he will also. And then I had like small tiles in my bathroom,
Yeah.
and then he's like, all of these are very different in color. So he's like,
Yeah.
okay, we try. Like
Some
he
who's
just
really
separate all of them.
really love their job and take it seriously, no matter like if he getting peanuts or something, like the work is hard. If they love their job and they respect the job, they would do it.
You need an OCD fucker to do this. Lah. Honestly speaking, you need an OCD
Yeah,
person to
the
do
guy
this.
needs to care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he needs
He
to
needs to
care.
have passion for this.
Yes.
But I
My
think
goodness.
it folds over to business. So for example, my contractor is not good at tiles. So I think that's why you hire a tiles person. But his cement work is damn good. Yeah, I can tell because like when he does cement work, when I look at my home, it's cut at the corner, it's very nice, it's clean. It's not like fucking got the foamy shit that they don't
Yeah.
like. I don't care lah, that type of thing. So I can tell that he specialized in some things, but I can tell that he had to sub it out to other people. But for me, I got a feeling the tiles is difficult, right? And I'm not saying it's an excuse. It's because it's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But tiles
it's a
are
lot.
definitely a specialized trade
Yes,
one.
yes.
It's same as carpentry, same as plumbing. So
Yeah.
typically the main con is usually a wet works person. Am I roughly
Yes.
right?
Oh,
Usually.
is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually.
It's a wet works person.
Yes. Yeah,
So
what,
he's
what does wet works?
concreting.
Wet works mean that it involves mixing the cement and doing to put up walls. Yeah, those are wet works.
Oh.
So when we say wet works, it means people who would pecahkan dinding,
My
would lay
God,
the
this is
bricks.
something I should have known, man. I didn't know this.
So
Then there's
sometimes,
a-
like you know, my house, like I told the first tiler who came in and do his job was, if you ask me, average at best. If you ask me, not good enough lah. And I know what rate I'm paying. So, and then I told my contractor, I told him to come in. Right, this is his subcon, right, the tiler. And I said, if you or me, would you accept this? Right. And then next day, a bunch of new tilers came in. So for me, this is the difference between a good contractor
Yeah.
and a subpar contractor,
Yes.
right? So it's not because their work is perfect. It's because they take responsibility of
Yes.
their work. If it's
Yes.
not good, they rectify. Because in reality, every contractor will have subcons that's not very good. And
Yeah.
there will be mistakes that's made along the way.
Yeah.
A good contractor just fixes the problems without saying like, oh, like it's their problem, not my problem.
Yeah.
So they don't deflect and tai chi the problem.
Yes.
So
see.
and I think that will go to like one of like I think if you ask me the biggest like cost saving problems of every reno is you pick a cheap contractor. You just pick by the total cost because eventually you will come to regret it.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
true.
Because usually the cheapest is usually the worst.
Doesn't mean
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's a very Malaysian thing, man.
Yeah.
It's a very Malaysian thing. It's always like I want to jaga cost, but I don't really care about output until the output is there. And then
Yeah.
output only, then you complain.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
such a thing, man. I don't understand. There's no like foresight when it comes to these things.
Can you guys like explain to me how this all of these different parties, you've got main contractors,
Yes.
you've got subcontractors who I
Yes.
presume sit under the main
Main
con,
con,
right?
yep.
The main con manages all of these subcons. Where does the ID and the architect come into play here?
Okay.
I'm struggling to see
Okay.
the tree here.
So the tree would be okay. So the tree would
It's a
be
good question.
okay. If you have a plot of land
okay,
with no structures,
fantastic.
you hire an architect first.
Sounds about right. Okay.
So they'll give you the plans. Some architects can do ID works, especially if it's like a big firm. They have their own ID department. Or if it's a small firm, the architect is the ID. So if he offers the service of ID,
or he was pushed to do it because yeah, I know. Yeah.
then he'll do the ID work. So that's where after architect, the ID will work hand in hand, and then you come up with the costing. That is where QS, quantity
Quality
surveyors, would come in to do the costing, and then only then you bring in all your contractors.
But I think ID also spreads to multiple things to somewhat contractors also. I think that's why we talk about it, because the ID can also mean furnishing only.
Yes.
It can also just mean like, I don't know, hang a lamp, that type of shit. Do
Some
like
people do actually say, okay,
wallpaper.
I want to hire you just to do furnishing of my living room.
But some go deep lah, right? So it's like, oh, I want to just redo this whole place.
Yes.
I want to do the tiles and everything. So I think the ID is kind of like the project manager that comes in and be
Yes.
like, okay, I think the color tone suits this lighting from the window and shit like that lah.
Got it.
Yeah,
So let me get this straight, right? You have the architect who has this big piece of paper, I'm imagining, right?
Yeah.
He draws all the lines
Yeah.
and whatnot. Okay, fantastic. He probably go gets approval from
Okay.
God knows who.
Yeah.
Okay, he signs off, fantastic, right?
Okay.
He brings in the ID. The ID is essentially the project
But
manager.
okay, before you proceed, sometimes you don't need the architect, so the ID can do the drawings for you.
Right. And I guess
Yes.
the determining factor on whether you need an architect or not is whether or not you
You
need
need the signature of
approval.
Yes.
Usually it's structural.
Structural.
Right.
Yes.
Usually.
So, but if I want to like take down a beam,
Oh, definitely need architect.
You need architect and engineer.
only if the beam is structural, right?
Because yes, an engineer has to calculate the load. He has to see, okay, you can remove this beam, or if you remove this beam, we need to substitute it with something else.
Unless the beam was there just for a segregation
Yeah.
of
Right.
space.
Yes.
It's not as a
No,
non-load-bearing
load-bearing
beam,
beam,
then
yes.
fair game lah.
Yeah,
right?
so-
I don't
yeah.
need my...
Somebody
Yeah.
put it there for just
Yeah.
a reason that's
Aesthetic.
not structural. then you
Purposes.
can just remove it. Lah.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So ID comes in. ID is basically your project manager kind of fella,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
I guess depending on the context.
Yeah.
You have your main con.
Yes.
Your main con, in my mind, is kind of like the project manager for the subcons.
Yes.
Main con sometimes could be hired by the client, could be the one that's ID is bringing in.
It's either or.
Yes.
Right. But then, okay, so if I'm looking at the tree now, right? I've got the client.
Yep.
I've got the ID, who's project manager. I've got the main con, who's funny enough also project manager.
Yeah.
And then you've got the subcon.
Yes.
So you've got all these different layers, right?
Yeah.
It feels a bit redundant, lah. Or
It's tough to do solo. It's tough to to solo.
So
I think.
like I it feels redundant to me looking at this
Because there's a lot of people.
tree. Right. Yeah. It's like managers managing managers. Kau buat apa weh?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In your opinion, given that you do this in real
Okay.
life, are all of these roles necessary?
Actually, if the main con can do it, like he has his own team, you can cut the subcon. But it means that
got it.
the main con has his own team. I have everything.
Right.
My workers can do all. My workers can do tiles. So that's it.
But it's
He's the one that
very unlikely. I've never met one that does
they can do all.
because the
At least a few will be subbed out.
yeah.
Especially with how it's a skill job. Not everyone can do a lot.
It's
of
quite
things.
specific.
Yeah.
So like for example, this is from my experience, right? When I hired Mr. Lee, he's the contractor. Mr. Lee, right, technically, right, can do cement work. He's good at that shit because wet works, right?
Yeah.
But this guy, when it comes to plumbing, he knows basic plumbing.
Yeah.
He knows basic wiring and he knows like basic like roof tiles, basic
yeah.
everything. So the shit that he can do himself is his cost. He can cut down because he said, I can do, don't worry, I count him. But the shit he cannot do, like, oh shit, I don't know how to do wiring. I find subcon already. Because if a guy can do all, right, he confirm can do all.
Yeah.
But it will either take a long time,
Or it's not gonna be as good as.
or
Or it
it's
won't
not-
be good lah.
Yeah.
Because it's like he's not specialized at it. So he's going to be like, oh, sorry, this is the best I can do, man.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm imagining at this point there should be an entity or several entities that can do all. Ma.
Ada.
So, but
Some ada.
But most of the
Ada.
time, what happens is like for me, ideal case is usually I hire an ID, and then my main con deals with the rest of the
rest.
subcon. So
Yeah,
the ID and the client only talks to the main
con.
contractor. That's
Yes.
it.
There are
Yeah.
times where we're the main con. We're the one who's calling the tiler. We are the one who's calling the skilled tiler or the skilled painter.
Yeah, yeah,
So we're the one dealing with the subcon.
Yeah. So
Calling it.
the
calling
ID
them
is the
subcon.
guy that kind of tells them, hey, this one don't look too aesthetic, lah, bro.
Yeah.
The contractor is just doing it. He's just like, I'm going to pour a lot of cement here, but I don't have good taste, lah.
Yeah.
I just know how to do it, lah.
Yeah, yeah.
But you better tell me how to do it, lah.
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to do it the most effective possible way. So sometimes the window is like offset.
Or the
Then you're like,
easiest possible way.
Yeah.
Then the ID is gonna like, bro, are you not even looking at the window?
Yes.
He's like, yeah, but the window is there already. Why should I move the window?
Yeah, true,
Because it's
true.
not centered. The client is not going to be happy.
Yes,
Then contractor like,
it's true.
ma, chao hai, you go curse. Fuck it lah, I do lah.
Do
But
lah, yeah.
I charge you ah.
Yeah,
That is
true,
what the
it's
contractor
true.
does.
Got
It's
it.
so
Got
true.
it. Because I'm just There must be a reason why the contractor space is so fragmented. Is it not economically viable for a main con to have a large team of subcons that all fall under one umbrella? Therefore, it makes sense to sort of do this on a freelance project basis kind of thing.
I think it's the manpower that is hard to get.
Some people are already attached to another project, so you like, fuck, that guy already attached to another project.
I feel like it's just specialization, and it's inefficient because like how do you utilize all of it?
Correct. So if I hire a professional tiler, the best tiler on earth, right?
Yeah.
Out of 365 days a year, I can maybe only use him for 90
So
lah.
my guess, I don't know if this is true, but like developers have all these subcontractors that is technically their subsidiaries indirectly that does their own job. But
probably.
let's say they will get an M&E guy, right?
Yeah.
But actually it could be their subcontract or their own company.
Yeah.
So, but then they supply the job. So it's still technically on paper subcontracted out, but it
But
could
it's
be their
under their
own.
house, yeah.
Okay.
So I think all these big developers have that.
Ah.
But I think the smaller guys just doesn't make sense to, let's say I have an electrical arm, I have a plumbing arm, right? Or I have a tiling arm, I have a carpentry arm. Because to manage, let's say a carpentry kilang lah, right? It's a business on its
massive.
own. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And to be good at it will take a lot of time and expertise, right? So
Got it.
it's very unlikely one person will have all. Maybe they have a
The
few,
time to
but
polish the
definitely
skill.
not all. Yeah, it's very likely
see.
it's not all. Yeah.
And the guy will probably not be a contractor after that. He'll be like proper, like, I think I'm got IPO lah. Because it's like so big already.
He should just be a developer, right?
Yeah.
So only like these large scale developers can have sufficient scale to do this lah.
But
probably.
even that, I
Funding,
think I think normally they will have to, certain projects they also subcon out to some third party because that's the scale of it. And like, you know, projects happen, it's periodic, right? It's
Yes.
not like continuously the whole year around
Got
this
it,
work,
got
right?
it.
So I don't think it's this possible. I think it's just difficult to manage, my guess. Yeah.
It's doable lah.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense.
But in an ideal world, you're right. It'll be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In an ideal world.
I just figured at some point there would be companies that are wealthy enough to consolidate.
So some
And
contractors, they prefer them do all because, so usually the construction work is a step. You have to make sure this one is done, then. If one guy fucks up, it takes a long ass time, everyone else can do shit.
Yeah.
Correct.
But if you are under one roof, you know this guy is going to be done by this is going to be done by this.
Exactly.
The timing wise is going to be like
it feels
properly-
tighter.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Of course, that's in theory lah.
Yeah.
Whether the economics justify is another case.
Like that's why actually main contractors want to control all the subcontractors
Yes.
because they control their time, they control their
yeah.
payment. The problem is the client usually. The client will say, "Oh, I know this carpenter guy.
Yeah.
My friend, my friend, Mr.
friend.
Chong. You know what I mean? Like he come in, like he do contractor. Why you want to use him?
Yeah.
He cheap, bro.
Yeah, true.
He cheap.
And then they cannot deal with each other. And
And then the guy come in. The problem, if let's say carpentry is usually the end, so it's not so much of a problem. But imagine if it's like a tiler, right?
Yeah.
The guy come in, he takes like 1 month to finish the tiling job, right? Everybody else can't do
Yeah, can't do
anything
shit.
while they're doing tiling, right? So this delays the whole project. Whose fault? Then the main con will say, "Hey, John,
you
you
lah,
are the
you
one,
lah.
what?
Yeah,
You're Tyler
exactly.
guy.
like, Tyler's so slow.
He's slow. He cannot do. I also cannot do work.
Yeah.
So point finger. So every
Yeah.
time point finger, right?
Yes.
And then ID come cannot do anything because client choose one or this Tyler,
Yeah.
right? So what to do?
Yeah.
So
Sounds
they
like a mess.
can't.
It is a mess.
And also, you can't overstep the boundary
Yeah.
in that sense because they're like, fuck, like, the client is paying me some more money.
Yeah. I mean, client's the boss lah, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So like
It
I
is
can't
what it
really
is.
point finger. I can just be like, well, actually, it's your Tyler. Take a bit
Yeah.
more. You know, they point finger in a very nice way.
Of
You know
course,
how we
of
would
course.
say it? Like, you see, diorang yang salah. You know, diorang lambat. Chill lah. You know, it's not our fault. We're lambat. It's their fault. And I think we just point them.
It is the case.
But
But
this is so common. Like it happens in almost all projects I
Yeah.
see. All.
Yeah.
But mine I didn't find. Mine is all the confine. And
So-
he found people that are like, some of them really not that great.
Yeah, that's because you don't have anybody, right? So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't
I didn't.
insist. Like for me, like
Honestly, as a client,
Yeah.
that would be easy because all you do is just like,
Yeah.
yao the
the
main con
con,
lah.
yeah. Ideally, as a client, you want to be in that position. Actually, I very much prefer it.
Yes.
Like for my house, like I had one different contractor, which is my pool specialist, because they needed to be certified. They need to do
Yeah,
drawing
yeah.
somehow, right?
Yeah.
So that part, you should come and see. Like the tiling work, they had to tile until that line. then that one is pool.
Orang lain. Then you can see the quality different.
You can see the tiling work completely different one. The quality of the pool guy is useless. It's shit.
Oh, serious?
Yeah. Then my tiler starts complaining. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
look at his job.
True.
Fucking
true.
shite.
Because
They always complain. to
yeah,
each
but my
other.
main con is very responsible. So he wants to make sure he's the one. He complained to me. He's like, hey, you better ask him to redo. So,
True.
but then they end up bickering with each other lah. Because like he's like, what you do your thing lah. Don't disturb my work, right?
Yeah.
But you can clearly tell that every project has problems. So if you ask me, you should always, obviously there's an extra cost if you let the main con deal with, even let's say for instance, right, you have your own, same example, you have your own tiler, right? I always suggest the client give the power to the main con to make payment.
Okay.
Oh.
So they are responsible. Normally there's a markup lah. They charge, I don't know what, 5%
Yeah,
extra for the works. So let's say your tiling work is 50K, right? You pay extra like, 3K
You
for
handle
your
him lah.
for your main con to disperse and make payment. So that your tiler have to listen
Yes.
To the main con.
and they have to
Yes.
coordinate.
But you better find a main con that's damn good lah.
Correct.
Yeah.
That cares about quality lah.
Yeah.
Main con is actually a coordinator.
Bro, my main con, Mr. Lee, I tell you, man.
Mr. Lee,
God,
hopefully
he's
you're not
gone already
watching
lah.
this.
He's gone
Mr. Lee,
already.
rest in
yeah.
peace.
My God.
It's all
Dude,
good, man. All forgiven.
you know that window centering thing? I was telling you the window thing?
Yeah.
It happened
Bro,
to you, is
it
that one?
happened to me. Because mom went there and I was in Japan at the time and she was like, you see a window? She took photo. The window, right?
Upside
is
down.
Attached, bro. Upside down also better, My window was attached to the wall, And then
that
the
how
other
windows
window
work?
got
There's no
space,
gap. There's no gap.
No gap. But that side got gap. Like one side had gap, one side don't have gap.
Icks me.
Oh, it's not symmetrical.
Symmetrical.
lah.
Yeah, I'm just like, how can people live like this? And that
You
time,
know, he was thinking you want to put your curtains all to one side.
no. The reason is because we hacked the wall. So when we hack the wall, it's offset already. But by right, you should hack the wall first. Then you go and adjust
Yeah,
the
yeah,
windows.
yeah.
But he did the reverse. Basically, he did the window first. Then he hack the wall. Then it's offset already lah. Then I like, how can you live like this? It was like the own even the triangle tile, right?
He's
it didn't
not
bother.
alive now.
Yeah. Then I was like, wow, man. I really didn't think because you're talking about art sense, right? You can be a good ID/contractor, ma. Even he don't care, Like, dude, that's like the seesaw is forever one side, Can you deal with that shit? Bro, I'm a Libra, Drew. I'm just like, it's not balanced, man. It's so bad. And it's so obvious. Like,
But
even
he doesn't care lah, right?
Don't care. It's just like, it's not my house, I don't care. Until I like,
yeah.
Mr. Lee, you can or not, this one? Then he looked, can ma? I like, no, cannot. Then I just walked away. Then he did it.
He opened it up and fixed
No,
it.
he fixed it lah.
Okay lah.
Yeah.
If
But
not, forever you have to look at that shit.
bro, I cannot, bro. I will fucking jump off the window lah. Fuck it lah. It's attached to the wall, bro.
Yeah, that's no bueno, man.
No bueno. I can't pass that shit.
So
So
that's not gonna fly, man.
so that's why you need an ID person. I
Right.
feel. Yeah.
So do you think like in the future you would hire an ID?
Oh, definitely. Because so my situation as well, I think I'm very fortunate that my mom and my dad also got my place. They also do renovation and everything. Okay. I acknowledge that shit. But the problem is, I feel that when you're trying to do a place, they will say two heads are better than one. I
Yes.
disagree when it comes to design.
If there's too much opinion,
Yes.
it's gonna mess a lot of things.
Yes.
Too many cooks, man.
Yeah, too many cooks spoil the broth lah. So for me, I feel like my taste is I'm a person that's very functional and like Japanese shit. It's damn simple.
Yeah.
Functional and Japanese is not that hard, man.
Yeah.
Because Japanese are functional, right? So it's just one thing. But my mom was like, no, you should do it like this. No, feng shui must say do it like that. Then shit just starts getting weird, man. Like doors start opening in a different direction.
Yeah. Oh
Got
my
it.
god, I can imagine that, yeah.
Like sliding doors everywhere in some... I'm not blaming my mom. I'm just saying she's following the feng shui guy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
The
yeah.
feng shui guy is telling her this.
The feng shui don't see the aesthetic part of
You don't see, man. The guy is like, oh, this is good for your future. I'm like, this is not good for me opening the door in this way, man. It's kind of weird, right? So, like, even for my master bedroom, have you seen my master bedroom before?
No.
Oh, shit. So you go upstairs, right? My master bedroom, right, is actually behind the house, not front of the house. Normally,
Oh,
right, if
you put it
landed
in front of
property,
the
right,
house, yeah.
the master bedroom, right, is always front of the house. My one is the back of the house. So I'm fucking every night now, 11 p.m. because I live in a blue collar area.
So you have
I
to
hear
go
people
all the way
cutting
to the
vegetables at night, bro. Tok, 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 like 11
So my
p.m.
room is at the back. So
Oh, you also?
yeah, I purposely moved it at the back.
Why?
But I don't want to hear the road sound.
I hear old people cutting vegetables now lah. So it's a different fucking problem lah, I guess.
Why are they awake middle of the night?
Because they sell at the pasar pagi.
No wonder.
So they
Yeah.
work like
Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is lah, right? I can't.
it's not the end of the world lah.
I mean,
It's not lah.
there are
I'm just being a
solutions for
first
it lah,
world
but-
problem
Yeah.
Sound
complainer.
insulation. You need more sound insulation.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
so
Yes, yes.
whatever lah, right? But basically, I think these things happen because there's just different clients in a
Yeah.
way. So
Yep.
for me, I'm just like, look, I don't argue with my mom.
Just follow.
I just agree lah. Just agree. I'm
The
not
client
playing.
got client, bro.
Yeah, client got client, man.
It's okay. Your client, your main, the paymaster is always the client. So and that's the problem also.
Yeah.
So like let's say like the ID, let's say she's in
Yeah.
between, but I pay right?
Yeah.
I go to my contractor, you listen to me.
It's,
Gone.
it's true though. You know,
She
at one
becomes
point,
irrelevant.
at one point, I've told my boss, said, just tutup mata lah. You know,
Yeah.
the client wants it lah. We can advise as much as we want, but if they say no, I want it this way, we want it, then
But then the problem is after that I go to her, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yo,
Why did you advise me,
why
ah?"
like this? Although I make that decision,
yeah,
happens all the time.
yeah,
I see
true.
Because only when it's bad, then when it fucks up, I just go to ID and like, yo, why you never advise?
Yeah.
But then actually I go
okay.
direct to contractor. So at a certain point, I think this is always a client problem.
Yes.
Like I go to contractor direct and I said, hey, don't do this other way. And then the contractor, of course, listen to me because I pay what, right?
Yeah.
Why you want to listen to her?
Yeah.
Right? So then this becomes a problem. So I think it's very important to set up this in the beginning whereby any communication happens through the ID.
Yes.
So she's aware
Yes.
of the changes or decisions made. I can tell her, this is ultimate. You have to listen to me. Give me the best solution for what I want.
Yeah.
That's fine,
yes,
right?
that's
Because
good.
then she
Yep,
knows,
yep,
right?
true.
But very often this doesn't happen.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
It's always that, man.
I
Then
hired
you-
an ID for my condo. lah. Yeah.
Good.
Oh, it's fantastic process.
Yeah.
Who do you get?
I got a referral from my girlfriend who happened to be renovating her parents' house at the same time. Amazing. I clearly don't understand contractors. I didn't even know there were contractors. I just thought she did it.
Yeah.
I'm legit like
She handled
detached,
everything.
She
Totally
handled
jaded,
everything.
right? I just talk to her and then magically my place is done. That's all I care about.
Right.
So I just talk to her, ping pong. I disagree with something, then she's like,
Okay lah,
no,
we
no,
will,
this one looks better lah. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay, I trust you lah. I hire you for a reason lah, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Wow,
clearly
such a
you-
good client.
Clearly you got an eye
Yeah.
for things, ma. If not, I hire you for what?
But I think,
Wait, why wasn't your parents, your mom, meddling in your reno work?
I try to keep a nice
I
divide.
see.
Yeah.
But I cannot work for my mom. It's hard. So it's like,
harder, yeah, for sure.
For me,
Yeah.
it's like midday during, like, let's say lunch. Then she's like, hey, come go see your house. It's not like I'm like, no, mom. We have set this barrier, okay? Cannot. I die.
you just go lah.
I die,
Go
bro.
lah. Yeah, just go there, listen to her. That's all.
That's
That's
But no,
the-
it's a very challenging thing because sometimes I feel like I'm not saying anybody's wrong. I could be an asshole also lah,
Yeah.
honestly, right? Because to me, right, I just want to get over the conversation because I feel like on my plate is a lot for work. So I just go anything like mom, it's okay. No, I want you to decide. Then I
see.
decide on this one lah. No, it's too expensive. I'm like, oh.
I get it.
Oh,
You want me to decide and now you don't want to
So
listen?
basically, she wants you to say what she's thinking.
yeah.
I want you to want to buy me flowers.
Yes. Yes. Exactly that.
So it was a very difficult thing for me to do,
Yep.
right? And I think if I'm not mistaken, I went through it first.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
So I went through it first, and then I think my mom also realized like
I should
it's not
not.
very
Yeah.
good to have this. So I think that's why she's like, okay, lah, Drew, you get someone.
Luckily, your sequence was second.
Yeah.
Majority of his life,
Second.
luckily he's second, bro.
Yeah.
I tell
Yeah.
you.
Bless it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's ultimately like a learning curve. Like for me, I'm just like, you know what? Next time, confirm fucking get ID. Confirm. Even honestly, should get architect. This is for me personal.
Do you think that's the case? Like, let's say, but you see, most people nowadays, like it'll be like him, right? You get a condo that is unfurnished.
Yeah.
Do you still need an architect?
Nope.
Like,
No, architect that
don't-
one. But
right?
No need.
you need to consult building management if you want to break down certain walls, whether
Yes.
it's possible.
But ID can do.
Yeah.
Yes.
This one normally ID can do.
Yeah.
Because it's very
internal.
clear-cut.
Yes.
Yeah, it's internal.
Yes or no, ma.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that the ID has to liaise with the building management. lah.
And let's get clarification anymore.
Yeah. But my landed one, if landed again, then yeah, lah, I would probably get.
If you got no extension, you don't need an
No.
architect.
No, no need.
basically.
even foundation, I feel need. So for my place,
What do you
right,
do?
Okay, so when I bought my place, right, it had a garden up front with a tree.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Okay, and then
It
you have
already sounds like a nice building to start with.
yeah, it was
It was
nice.
nice. It was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, condition wise also, it was immaculate.
Yeah.
If you look at the parquet tiles, brilliant. The guy polished it before he sold it.
Wow.
He take
big
care of the place.
bucks.
That I brought you in, right?
Yeah, so I saw the place. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the
Wow.
terrazzo floor, he even polished the terrazzo.
Wow, that's a good
That's a
owner.
good
That's a
homeowner,
owner, yeah.
and he bought it first hand and he sold it to me, but arguably at a higher market rate because of
Because
the
he did all
condition.
that work.
Yeah.
Okay, he didn't even extend. He didn't cut anything. It's
Original,
original.
stock. Like,
Okay.
Okay, and last time, I don't know whether you guys know this. Most landed properties had a tree.
Yeah.
they will come with a mango tree or some shit
Yes,
like
yes,
a bonus
yes.
one, you know.
Yeah.
Right? So he preserved the mango tree some more, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
My house had a mango tree.
Yeah, we have a mango tree as well.
Area has a fucking mango tree, lah. Right? So my mom was like, rip it out. It's better to park a car there than to maintain a tree, and ants are very bad. I'm like, true, I want to park my car indoors, right? So when we tore it down, my mom was like, I think it's not good feng shui. I explained to you why also, lah. Okay? In some ways, I kind of disagree with what she says, but in some ways, I agree. So I side tangent a bit before I go into the why I need an architect. So just hold that in place why I need an architect, okay?
Yeah.
When you go into my house, right, it's beautiful in terms of like the parquet floor and everything, granted. But because of the story in which why the tenant left, I think it left a very bad taste in the mouth. Okay? And how it did is this guy became very successful. He went to banking and everything. And then he started like getting too cocky. And then after that, he started like complaining about the neighbors. I'm not saying where I live is in a very dangerous neighborhood. And allegedly, a lot of the neighbors pulled together to get someone to break into his house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And it's multiple times. One house only.
So it's
That's
that's more than coincidence.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not coincidence.
And now they don't steal anything. They just ransack.
Just scare the shit out of
That's
him.
BDE,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the one.
Yeah, this is where I'm living right now.
Best area.
Yeah.
I've been there. It doesn't look like very.
Yeah.
noisy.
He
Yeah.
must be a real dick, lah, right?
Maybe. So my mom was saying, you don't want this type of energy when you move in, lah. Especially when you have a family. Trust me, because our old house has been broken into a couple of times also.
Yeah.
Maybe you should ask Ben. Maybe he's the one of them.
Bay is too tall. He would not be able to do this covertly. So basically, my mom was like, I think you should just change up the feng shui. So after we changed it up, she's like, actually just remove it. The tiles also, I think maybe it carries bad
Like feng
energy.
shui.
So if she's paying for it, I'm like,
Okay
okay,
lah,
lah,
yeah.
Okay lah.
whatever lah.
You can choose. Okay.
Okay, now I go back to the architect. So when we did this part and we ripped out everything, what I feel is that the house, when you remove the tree and you remove the grass, now
The strength is
is
removed with the tree.
Yeah,
So
a little
you think-
bit, a little bit. And not only that, they're going to concrete it now, right? So when you concrete it, you obviously can be damn lazy and just fucking slap a whole new level of concrete on top.
There's no. I'm sure there's a rebar in it. Did
There
you-
is lah,
Yeah,
obviously
okay.
where the tree was lah, but the other side can drive in, ma. So the guy was like, oh yo, that's old concrete. This is new. I'm not gonna rip it out. I just put another concrete on top lah. Now my house, right? If I drive in, I'm driving up Tahan Guna Tahan, bro. I'm driving up Kinabalu every time, you know.
So he just he increased the level, lah, basically.
Yeah, and I find it so weird because my house is a level lower than the house next to me because it's up a hill.
Yep.
So when you see my driveway higher than the next door, although he's higher than me in some way, I'm just like,
It's so funny, right?
it's so odd. And that's the real thing that bothers me, especially when I turn into my driveway, I like, tum, 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 then I go up. And it's like, my car always has the alert, you're gonna crash,
hit
lah, John.
something.
Yeah, because you're just going up.
The gradient is damn high, lah, right?
Yeah, so for me, I feel that if I got an architect or at least an ID that has advised me like, I think you need
Should
to level it
pecahkan
lah.
everything
I
and
think
do it properly lah.
So for me, my
You
mom
need
was,
to level properly, lah, like and get the basically you see the proper elevation, like compared to
Yeah,
your neighbors and stuff like that.
so I
right?
think an architect or an ID person, I think an architect definitely would have been like, look, I think we better level it.
so to match your neighbor or whatever that may
Overall
make sense.
facade also is
Yeah.
important, right? Because if you were to match the houses, like for me personally, and I agree with Ken on this, Ken brought this up, I don't like having a 3-story house when it's a 2-story all the way.
Yeah.
I don't like having a 2-story house when it's all 1-story all the way
But
because it just ruins,
the view.
No
Yeah.
respect for
The-
the
what you
neighbors.
I
All
wouldn't
these
say,
people- no,
I wouldn't say no.
I would say it.
Okay, but you would say that for me, I just don't like overall for me to stand out like that. I like to blend in, you know,
Yeah.
uniformity to me in some way is beautiful, right? So when they do things like that, it irks me. And I felt like at that time during my process, if anybody would come to me and be like, bro, I'm gonna renovate, I'm like, bro, just get a fucking ID.
Yes.
Get an architect. Just pay for like
Yeah.
consultation at least. Just he doesn't need to do everything. Just at least get his advice.
Yeah.
Because things like that, I think, build up.
Yep.
So when they did that, what happened was even the ground floor of my house, right, is raised a bit, bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just raise everything, man.
Yeah, they raised everything.
Because it's easier to just put on top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they
Let's
just keep
move on.
Easier
slapping
to
it.
add than to
They
reduce.
just keep slapping concrete on top. Yeah. But what I do advise is you should extend your house, because, you know, like balconies and shit like that, nobody uses balcony. I feel I never
True.
use my balcony. That's personal. Okay.
Yeah.
So enough about me. Maybe we go to the next question. It's a lot of frustration I wanted to vent out, you know.
That's good. I think a lot of people face
Don't
your
realize,
frustration. Yeah, this
No,
is-
some people say, why high ID? You know, I know what I want. I know what contractor can buat.
So, but like,
hire.
what like for you, like, what is the problem? Let's say, for instance, right? Let's say you, like, let's say you do industrial design, and then John comes to you and like,
want
give me
it.
Japanese.
Yeah.
I love Japanese, right?
Industrial Japanese
Yeah.
cities.
So,
we have to follow what the
client
client
wants.
wants.
would you do that, or like, would you tell the client like, I think go find another ID? Like,
I know.
this is not my speciality. You get what I mean?
No, we will. We will
do it lah.
Yeah, we will do it.
Oh shit. Okay.
But I think it's maybe also depending on the company, lah, right? Because some IDs would be like, no, we only specialize in this.
Yes.
And also, I think we are living in an economy where I feel like business is appreciated rather than not, right? So
Yeah.
you would take
True.
business.
But
lah.
like,
Yeah.
if you ask me, I think this is more like a client problem. Like sometimes, like I've seen clients who pick very reputable ID firms, but then they go to them and let's say this guy specializes in industrial, right?
Yeah, then
and
he
you
wants
go
something
there and you said like, you want Japanese. I think it's
Yeah.
pretty stupid, lah.
Yeah,
right?
it's up to the client.
bit
This is
stupid.
where the client is wrong. They should
Yeah.
go through all the portfolios or the
And but like
profiles.
how do you suggest like your clients to figure out who is the right ID for them?
Instagram is a very good place to
Just
go.
see
If
what
you
they-
see what they do. Yeah.
Okay.
Look at their pictures.
Fair point.
If you like what they do, go for them. If they're the jenis yang they can do all, go for them as well. You can. But if they're mostly with classical design house, just Japandi is what you call it. Japandi is the Japanese style.
Yep.
So if it's I really like the simple Japandi, industrial looking, minimalist, go for that company.
How do you spell Japandi?
Japandi. Japandi.
Can you just like pull that up? Japandi.
Pandi.
Basically Japan with the I.
Yeah.
Oh, Japandi.
Yeah.
Like,
Scandinavian Japanese.
Yes.
oh.
So that's the minimal Japanese that we're seeing that's going around lately. Yeah,
Right,
that's Japandi.
a lot of the houses in.
Yeah, Japandi.
Oh
see?
shit, looks damn dope, man.
nice.
Wow, it looks fucking sick.
Yeah,
Man.
Japandi.
But you know what? My theory, right, always is always the ceiling. The ceiling is whether you know whether the fella got budget or not. If the fella do wooden ceiling, right, this guy got budget, bro.
Yeah.
If the guy don't do wooden ceiling, it's a regular, like, I don't know, just flat, like.
But you know why all these houses looks nice? Look at all the open shelf. Like it's
Yeah,
impossible.
and it's so warm.
No,
Look at it,
nobody
it's
would
so
do it.
warm.
Like
Yeah,
it's impractical.
it looks nice. It's impractical.
Impractical.
Why?
You know how much dust you're gonna have to clean on it.
But like,
that's true.
but why do every ID that I meet still puts
Suggest
the
it.
3D
With open shelf, is
puts
it?
the open shelving in 3D when I explicitly tell them I do
Seal.
not want anything that is unusable, because here's the problem, right? For most people, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the enemy of home ownership? Maintenance, right?
Yes.
Like, and we don't want to maintain places we don't use. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
If we need to maintain the place we use, it's fine, right? But like let's say you have a shelf, and the shelf is an open shelf, right?
Mm.
It's basically not a usable space. It is purely decoration. Am I
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So why do IDs still put it
Put it
in
in
my
3D?
drawings? Yeah, why?
For approval, Ken.
It's for visuals.
It's for approval, Ken.
That's it.
Because they want you to approve
You
a
know-
nice visual, Ken.
Yeah, it's visual because once we submitted a 3D for you,
Yeah.
we're gonna use that 3D in our profile.
Oh.
And clients are gonna see, looks nice. They're not gonna think, I don't think people use those shelves.
Oh.
But I think this is like, for me, it's a problem because when I
Yeah.
explicitly say it as a client,
Yeah.
I don't want.
Okay, then that's a
impractical
problem. If
things,
you've said
right?
it to the
The ID
ID,
fella.
usually they would have to listen. Maybe they would do a different drawing to put at their
Bro, it's
social
not hard
media.
to render, bro. You just close cabinet and render, bro. By right, lah. You know,
I've
technically.
actually suggested to the client, they wanted an open shelf at the end of their island. I said, those things are not going to look nice because the first thing that when your visitors datang your house, masuk your dapur, look at your open shelf, so dusty. You know? Confirm.
Confirm.
I said, might as well just have a cabinet out there.
You know, hotels do the same thing. Every time I go to a hotel, I always do the dust check.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, you
Never
guys are
clean.
so brave, right? To do,
The
you know,
glass shelves, is it?
no, not just shelves, like, wall features
Yeah.
that are like,
Fluted. Yeah.
like, it's like a shelf, but it's not a shelf. It's just like design, lah,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
wood. So if you look at Japanese stuff, right, it's usually this way. You see, like over here, the foam is going
Yeah.
downwards.
Yeah.
Yep.
Before this, in the previous podcast, we did like zigzag. You know what? When I did that shit, right? The amount of fucking dust,
Dust in
right,
between.
is ridiculous. That's why Japanese people do it this way,
Yeah.
so the dust
Vertically,
doesn't
yeah.
collect.
Yeah.
But when I go hotel, right, they do it this way, right?
It's
I
like
like-
just unlimited shelves.
Yeah.
But you can't even put anything on it, lah.
Yeah.
You confirm, right? Anything, right? You just confirm dust one.
Yeah.
Confirm. Even like if you slot things in, right, like a fridge, like a mini fridge, go to hotel rooms, they
Yeah.
slot the
Yeah.
fridge, they don't have a cabinet, confirm dust on top one.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no way housekeeping does this shit.
Yeah.
It's impossible. So you should just do it this way.
Yes.
Or just not have it.
Or
Just not have it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're paying money for it, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I genuinely still don't know. Like I still get so many people. Like when I get shown a lot of 3Ds. Trust me, everybody asks me, like, oh, what do you think? I'm just like, because if you really want to envision you living in that space, it's very unlikely you have open shelvings or like glass wardrobes. Like those if you
look
ask
nice.
me,
They
like
look
if
nice.
if you want to show off your wardrobe, fine, right? But you just remember that you cannot use it, right? It's very unlikely you use it. It's probably things that you probably leave there to show, right? It's not usable.
Like fast or something.
So people
Glass
don't.
wardrobe will look nice if you're very OCD and your clothes are nicely arranged. They look
Yeah.
really
I wear
good.
the same clothes every day, and I still don't think it's very nice. Again, I have 30 of the same clothes, and I still don't think it's very nice. Like,
I wear the same black t-shirt.
right? And like, do you think it's nice if people can see it?
Not really.
Right?
I look like a crazy person, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at photos, they all look nice, but practicality, if you
in real
every
life.
day, it's not a real life thing.
Because like, if you have only like 4 like wardrobe doors and it's glass, where are you gonna put your real clothes?
Actually, I think
Same as open shelving. Like the moment you put open shelving, it's unusable space. You get what I mean?
it's just display.
It's display.
Yeah, it's display.
Unless your house is massive, right? And you got unlimited maids, then maybe it's okay.
You will clean
Or
every day.
you are not a hoarder, which unfortunately is not most of us because we're Asian. And then you are like a figurine / artwork displayer.
Yeah, then okay, yeah.
glass
Yeah, yes.
works. But I feel even glass, right, I would advise against it, right? Because so hard to clean.
Fingerprints.
Yeah, it's hard to clean.
Yeah.
And honestly, like accidents happen. Shit
Yeah.
can break, shit
Yep.
can crack. And when you have one panel of glass, that's cracked. That shit gonna be there for a long time because you're not gonna replace it. It's
Yeah.
gonna be so long.
Yeah.
Until you find a supplier to like, and even if you do that, the glass won't match. Because
Yeah.
the other glass is old and you're like, oh my God, lah. I can't deal, man. Yeah. So close is the way to go, lah, in my opinion also. I think it's just nice, man, because it's like flushed, right? I think it's part of the
wall.
part of the wall, but also like it's like not noisy. If that makes any sense.
Oh, I get what you
Yeah,
mean. I get
yeah.
what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So you know, like recently, a lot of things have been going up in terms of price, lah, right? But how do you guys see both the prices? Because you're in the F&B business, Ken, and also Shafeeqa, you also deal with multiple suppliers and everything.
Yeah.
Do you see like a lot of cost of items go up recently? And how do your clients react to that?
Usually, if someone gives you costing, they will say at the bottom it only valid for a certain time.
Oh,
Yeah. Because changes in price.
It happens so frequently, one.
Yeah, you have to look at your if you look at your quotation, it will say this price only valid for
2-3 months
one,
maximum. Yeah,
yes.
maximum.
Wow.
And then if the project, usually it's supposed to take 6 or 3 months, 3 to 6 months. And then if it goes beyond that, the contract is going to say, harga barang sudah naik.
Yeah, my house was like, I got a quote like probably about 9 months before the start of the project. So I just got all the quotations in just to have a budgeting, right? Like you do budgeting.
Yeah.
And then I think nearly 70% of the suppliers changed price
Yeah.
Oh.
in that time frame. And like at that point was quite a lot. I think the minimum amount increase was like, I think maybe like 15%.
15%.
Minimum.
Minimum, yeah. Because at that point, that was just after COVID. So
Oh shit.
that was one of the worst times of price increase. And I think it's a bit more expensive from there right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's madness,
Yeah.
way.
And like I do shops almost every year, right? So I can clearly tell exactly how
Check
much
the differences.
increase the price is because I use almost the same contractors, same
I
So you
see.
can
same
so you
vendors.
can track the price change.
And I tell people like prior to COVID versus after COVID, I think prices has easily doubled, easily.
Bro, shit char downstairs
Yeah.
ringgit, bro.
So
That's mad.
so but that's the reality, right? Like so for me was when I heard it myself, right? Because during COVID we didn't open any business for 2 years, right? So after that, when we opened, I was like, what's with the prices, right?
It's quite quite
That
crazy.
time, like I think the increase was like 50 to 70% on average. So I'm like, why is this thing so much more expensive? He's like, nobody else gonna do it for less.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Even then, after COVID, labor workers,
They charge more.
they are scarce. They were scarce.
yep.
They know that they are in need. They charge more.
Even laborers like this, the normal unskilled.
They charge more because they know we're in demand, man. This is the time.
Wow.
It's crazy, yeah. It's a lot. Like I can tell you, like if you did your house previously, for how much did you pay for your place?
Including furnishing, about like 150, 200 grand.
I think today easily 300 plus 400.
Serious? But I
Easily
remove
double.
roof also lah. That's the thing.
So I will tell you easily double minimum.
Wow.
Yeah. Like imagine if you would do a reno today, right?
Actually, that's true. If you say, now that
You
say
will
that.
be shocked as well because you will be thinking like, okay, maybe like 20-30% more, right? Like that's maybe what you're thinking, right?
Yeah.
On average, maybe you instead of 200, maybe now you pay 300, let's say.
Yeah.
Right? That'll be okay lah, right? But I can tell you it's probably not that.
Damn, that's almost $500,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's almost like buy another house.
I can tell you, I'll be surprised if you can do it under $500,000 what you did today, what you did back then.
Wow.
But then it's so strange that the house prices didn't go up like that, you know? Like when I look, because
there's oversupply of houses.
is it?
No
Even
one
landed or?
wants to buy.
Lender cannot transact. That's the problem. The acquisition cost is too high.
Oh.
So, like, let's say you buy a house that's $1 million. At minimum, just to get the keys, you need about $170,000-$180,000
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to down payment is
Paperwork,
10, and then all the
yeah.
rest of the.
Yeah.
So that's just to get the keys, and on average, the renovation cost is then also cash, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Upfront
if
some
you
more.
don't have $500,000 to buy an old landed house that is $1 million, it's unlikely. So who got $500,000 cash that
To buy
wants
a-
to do this?
Yeah. I mean, I say that, but at the same time, less people do it, but there are people who do it lah. I do see people who are renovating like mad everywhere.
A
Like,
lot of
Yeah,
people
yeah.
want to do it, but the reality is it's just the barrier to entry is very, very high.
I see.
Because look, you think about it, right? So let's say you buy $1 million house and you spend, let's say, $400,000 on it, right? So total cost would be around 1.4 million. There's a lot of people who can afford and finance a $1.4 million loan, but very few people can finance a $1 million loan and take out 400K
400K
cash.
upfront.
Yeah. In that sense, right?
Yeah.
In logic, because nobody got 400K, but their salary is high enough to finance it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, but in Malaysia, unfortunately, there is very little ways you can finance a renovation. Some small contractors do give their own loan,
Installment.
like
Oh,
like-
really?
Yeah,
I've never
but-
heard of this.
So even sometimes, let's say you can pay them over a year after you complete. So maybe you pay
Wow, that's a big,
yeah.
big
So let's-
budgeted.
Yeah, but it's quite heavy.
So let's
still,
say like 300K, right? But they mark up lah.
Yeah, lor.
Sure markup one, right?
Interest.
So let's say the work is, let's say they charge you, let's say the work is 300K, they may charge you 400K, right? But you can finance it. I let you pay me monthly,
Yeah.
right? Over let's say 3 years.
Wow.
You do, no?
You know what they will say? If you don't pay, I know where you live. Huh?
Yeah. So
Oh,
they know they obviously
Really?
they first of all they need to be big enough to have the bankroll.
Yeah.
Because
Definitely,
for
yeah.
them it's cash flow, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's that. And if you ask me, they are financing business. They're
Yes.
not so
Not
much
really the-
contracting
yeah,
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
Wow.
So usually they pair with a person that offer the finances.
I see. Because
With
they're
a-
doing the work, but then you need someone to, okay.
It's a high interest rate loan that is cheaper than credit card. Usually it's like around there.
Damn, man. I didn't even know this type of shit existed.
I
man.
never knew that contractor
It
would
should be
let
lower
you.
than it should always be lower than personal loan interest rates lah.
Yes, it should.
Right.
It
Your
should be.
contractor has a atomy plan.
Yeah, man.
But you think about it, it makes sense for people who, let's say, for instance, like him, right? I know you can finance what, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Let's say you want to make up a condo and it's mostly furnishing
Yeah.
works, let's say 50 to 100K,
Yes.
right? The risk is relatively low because I know you can finance me every month, right?
Yeah, that's not the issue. It's just I don't have the cash on hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do very basic bank checks. I know that you can actually pay me,
Yeah.
right? And the default rate will be very low one because a person who can afford to buy that house,
They can
finance
afford.
the house, can
Yeah.
probably
Yeah,
finance
yeah.
that
Yeah.
50K, 100K rental,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting business to be in. And I think more and more contractors will continue to do it because installment is a thing in Malaysia.
Wow, this is actually new for me listening.
The
about
installment
this.
thing? Installment thing, yes, but I didn't know about the house
About the contractor.
thing.
Yeah, I don't know
Because you
about that
think
one.
everybody, like since COVID, everybody wants to own a home. And the biggest home hurdle is basically just financing the
Yes.
rental,
Yeah.
right? And for
The house loan is okay.
house loan is no problem
Yeah,
because
it's just the-
very often you get like, from if you buy from developer, you pay almost nothing up front.
Yep, yep.
Right.
You even get a rebate, bro. Fucking
Yeah,
fantastic.
true, true.
So-
I become cash richer.
So like I talk to developers, right? And developers tell me that this is the only way they're gonna continue to
Sell.
Like because there's no other way.
Yeah.
Because if I give you a 50K rebate, your life is good, right? Because you can almost move in without any cash up front.
Yep.
Yeah.
Almost, right? And they getting closer and closer to that. So it makes sense, right? Because the developer also risk, they already calculated the risk one.
Yeah.
So, and if you ask me, that makes sense because if not, people cannot afford.
And then it's just stagnation for everybody also.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
compete in some ways also because if your other developers are doing that, you might as well fucking do it also,
Yeah.
right?
And once one start, it's very unlikely the rest don't follow.
True.
Yeah, because they need the business ultimately, right?
So the question is whether this buy now pay later theory is will it have a bad implication? I don't know lah. Yeah.
Yeah, because long term people can overcommit to certain things as well, right?
I mean, you can only see it with how people buy cars,
Yeah, man, the car thing is a bad, it's a big thing, man. I feel like everybody can, but I don't know why, man. People get like new Tesla straight away next week. I say like, wow,
Yeah.
someone can get Tesla so fast already. You know that shit is rapid, man.
I'm surprised, like, we haven't been able to buy nasi lemak and then pay later, right? Do an app, right? Like financing food, right?
Actually, can Grab Pay Later.
Grab Pay
is a
Later?
thing.
Grab Pay Later lah.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
It's not
Serious?
different. Yeah.
Yeah, Grab Pay Later. They incentivize. They give you like specific vouchers that are tied to when you order Grab food using Grab Pay Later.
Yep.
Not
Wait,
if
so
you
people are
use Grab.
spending money they don't have even on food now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do it too. Yeah, because I get my discount.
Yeah.
And I couldn't care less if I paid now or next week.
So it will benefit people who can actually afford it, and then it will kill people who
Actually
might not be
can't.
able to afford it.
Yeah, because you're trying to match that lifestyle, right? That's
Yeah.
fucked
Yeah.
up, man.
Yeah.
People don't notice that, I think it's okay, and then it snowballs, and then you're like, oh shit.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm in deep shit.
what the fuck?
Like I think
That's
like the
messed up,
gifting business is the biggest for that. Like buy cake, buy flowers.
Oh.
Like, 'cause
Your
girlfriend-
flex.
Your Valentine's coming. Your girlfriend like thinking gonna get flowers, so you just buy and grab lah. Like pay later lah, right? Break it out into like 3-4 payments, whatever.
Oh, flowers are so expensive and
Yeah,
ridiculous.
so like let's say one bouquet, like you pay like 200 ringgit. It's just like like I'll pay $50 each month for 4 months. Whether you can afford it or not, like
The flower is
like,
already
for,
dead like 3 days later.
For people who can afford it, you'll be like, hey,
Nothing lah.
I get like 15 ringgit off. Okay lah.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Overall lah.
Right? But for people who cannot afford it, they shit, like later how to pay this $50, right?
Wow.
A bit specific, but if you go to Floristica, the flowers are damn cheap. A bit specific and a bit TLDR, a bit like tangent. But
Floristica with a K?
Floristica with a K in Bangsa. Super cheap.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
They deliver.
Don't do your Bloom this. I don't know if they deliver, but just go to Bangsa. Dude, it's 30 ringgit. It's like 20 something maybe. I've even seen discount one 15.
Wow.
Yeah. Then I check Bloom this.
Bro, Bloom this rubbish.
Bloom, this is so expensive because they're so commercialized.
And it's so small.
advertised.
It's pretty
Yeah.
small too. Like when they do major
Because they
advertisements during Mother's Day.
advertise. So that's the only thing that people see. When they like, oh shit, I need a florist. Or they think, oh, I've seen Bloom this. I'll try that. You know?
And Andrew is suggesting that men should prepare earlier.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, don't buy last minute.
You know what's the
I
best
just don't
thing
buy
is? You
flowers.
just go into your calendar, right? You go pick like 2 or 3 random dates in the year. Totally arbitrary. Doesn't matter what date.
And then you
just go
surprise
flag
your
it.
girlfriend.
Yeah, then you don't. You
Yes.
just automate your life, bro.
Yo.
You're part of the
see.
matrix now.
Hey, this is great planning. This is great
It
planning.
depends on your girlfriend and wife. I just want to caveat that.
True lah.
Jen is the type that be like, why the fuck you buy flowers? You just bought me food, right? I'm like, that's true. That's true. Sure, I just bought food.
But she would still be probably happy if you get some randomly. Maybe
I don't know, man. I think she
Try
would-
lah, try and
think it's
see.
because
gesture
she's the type that I feel like she would prefer to get a new game on Steam.
Oh,
Okay.
I
She's
understand
the
her
type
then.
like
Just go to your
I would
calendar
say
and
the
just
same
schedule
thing.
for Steam.
I would say,
Yeah.
why you give me flower? It's gonna die. If you give me game, that game is probably gonna cost the same as your flower.
Yeah. Or she like buy a monthly pass for her on the game. Then she'd be like, fuck yeah, you my right husband. Yeah, I don't know.
Fair point.
Yeah. So the thing is just, she like chicken nuggets. I think she would have been happier with that. Yeah. So Ken, I know both you and I, we bought like older homes,
Yeah.
right? And then we decided to go like, oh, we're gonna renovate it, we're gonna touch it up and all that, right? Maybe we can touch on both aspects here. But Shafeeqa also, like, are there homeowners like Ken and myself who buy a home and then want to repurpose the older stuff? For example, like terrazzo tiles, like older features that
Those
come
are
with
coming
the-
back.
Yeah, those are coming back.
Yeah.
But for me personally, it was tough because like I wanted to extend my house, but the terrazzo didn't match.
Won't match. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got
It
it.
was like
It's
6 years
impossible.
old.
Yeah.
Was
Like-
impossible.
I mean, you
Like-
could embrace it and add another that if it's not in the same house, let's say if it's an extension in a different room, then it's fine. Then you have like a different shade tiles. It's fine.
But I think people underestimate the challenges to retain.
Uh,
Like I mean, I get a lot of shit on social media for destroying my terrazzo tiles.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
is
like, you should see the post.
I shit on myself for it lah. I feel
Yeah.
quite sad. lah.
People piss on me, like, but I think what I'm trying to say is the fact that it's not that I never considered it. So back then, I'm sure your house is probably the same, right? The terrazzo tiles are in patches,
Yes.
right? So, and let's say you come in, like for mine it was a single story. So the terrazzo was in the living room, it was in the dining, but it was like this, and like this. So it's in
Yes.
patches,
What
right?
was the
Yes.
what's the in between? What's the tile?
Nothing, there's just cement. Like
Mine is
cement.
pake. Mine
so
is
yeah,
mine is
pake.
terrazzo,
I
pake, and then
see.
again terrazzo. Like
Yeah.
kind of weird. Now that you say that,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it is one. And most of the house back then was created that way.
Yeah.
So and also where you demolish the wall, there will be no
No
tiles lah,
tiles.
no terrazzo lah, right? So look, if you do, let's say for instance, an industrial look, there's a
It
very
doesn't
high chance you could just get away with like,
A cement there.
yeah, or like a different floor
Yeah,
or
yeah,
different
yeah,
terrazzo that is indifferent or not exactly the same. But if you're going for, let's say, a Japandi look, it's
Doesn't
impossible.
fit. Yeah, it won't fit.
It's possible. And also the fact that people underestimate the cost of the contractor hacking and preserving, protecting, and refinishing the cost. It's not zero, I can tell you, right?
Yes,
It's very
true.
far from zero. People say, oh, like, you waste money. I'm just like, try to get your contractor to save one patch of floor for you when you're almost tearing down the rest of the house.
If you especially break down wall.
So the question is, if he breaks one part of it, you'll be unhappy, right? You'll
Yeah,
be pissed off.
yeah.
And your whole vision of it will be different, right? And imagine them breaking down the bulldozer and shit, right? Like how
How to control?
to control? It's hard. And for them to guarantee it comes with a cost,
Yeah.
correct?
And timer.
Yeah. And also the fact that they have to make sure it's protected all the way until the end, right? So it is not zero. And the reality is very often it is very difficult to do so. So there's a lot of things that you will see is very nice, blah, blah, blah. But restoration work is equally as expensive. I have like van block walls on the party wall. So I went to my neighbor and like I asked them, so do you want this wall? Like how much do you like this wall?
It's a in between.
It's
the
a party wall, lah.
dividing.
Yeah, it's party wall, right? So all the
Partition.
Yeah.
So between you and your neighbor, that wall.
Yeah.
So I go to him, I'm like, so do you like this? Do you want me to cover it? Because I'm going to change the front part, which is broken. It was like
Yeah.
rusted fence. So I said, I'm going to change this. My neighbor was very good. He just like, oh yeah, if you want to change this, good. Like better for me, right? So I said, okay, this is what I'll do. And then this van block wall that is a bit damaged, right? So there's like chipping, like, all the things is just a bit degraded lah. So I asked him like, do you want it? He's like, yeah, like I like this design. So the cost of this
touch up.
refurbishing that van block wall is probably around the same as building a new
one.
wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, demolishing and putting a new wall.
If not more, right? So it is doable, but you have to find the contractor to do it, right? I can see the guy literally like he had to plaster all the lubang, right?
chips and
Yeah,
holes.
and then repaint, right? You
Yeah.
kind of like do back and then you repaint. So at the end of the day, there is cost to it. So and that is why I also get a lot of shit for like, oh, like why don't you just demolish the whole thing? And actually, this is
Everyone has an opinion lah.
yeah. So everybody has an opinion, like and
So it's a long format podcast, guys.
Yeah.
You can explain.
so I mean, like that is something that I get very common. Like, because I spend probably too much money on the reno, but I think the idea was like very often like I'll ask you this question: if I have a single story house, is it cheaper for me to demolish and rebuild, or is it cheaper for me to try and retain?
It
the
depends
structure?
on the condition of the house.
Okay.
Sometimes if the wiring is so fucked up or the piping, sana bocor, sini bocor, roboh je lah.
Right.
To find,
Yeah.
to rectify. Kadang-kadang you rectify here and then
Another problem.
Because if it's a house that's been abandoned or been left unused for 5 years,
It's
water
bad
is
already.
water is gonna be stuck there, and then suddenly because of the pressure of a sudden pressure that you book up pipe,
Yeah.
everything
mess
else
up.
is gonna it's another headache.
I think there's an additional layer to this. So I feel like the answer is it's cheaper to not tear down, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because I've seen a couple of houses.
It depends on the
Because
situation.
if you tear down, like I think tear down wear and tear items, yes. So like plumbing, wiring,
Yeah.
these are wear and tear items.
Yeah.
I feel like you should tear down. But
Yes.
based on like structural,
No need.
I don't think you should tear down. Like what you can do is, I think if you consulted a proper like architect / contractor who's familiar with the houses, because the contractor I work with had worked on houses in my area before.
Yep.
So he knows which one is the support pillar, support beam and all that. So when I removed certain support beams within my home, what he said was, look, if we remove this, you can, but you need to create the support for the roof in a different way. So you need to change your roof. You okay or not? And my mom was like, remove the roof. Let all the bad energy leave the house. So I'm like, okay lah, I killed two birds with one stone lah, right? So if you're really going to remove the roof already,
Yeah.
based on feng shui reasons, you might as well create a new roof that has the support. So to answer your question, I feel like certain things actually you don't need to tear down the whole
Yes.
home because the structure itself already is there.
Yeah.
But I think yours is different because yours is a corner lot.
Yep.
So maybe corner lot, the support is a bit different.
It's
For
not
sure,
attached
it'll be
to-
case by case basis. Lah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, for sure.
It'll be different.
Yeah, mine's an in-between, so I felt like the support not so bad. So that he told me actually your side lot is a bit better in terms of cost. Don't need to spend so much. Because if you attach, it's like, I don't know how to say this. I don't know all the terms, but basically right and left, and then like you have a triangle up
Yeah.
there, right?
Yep.
So if you have your roof like that, it kind of supports it. Like the weight is
Yeah.
pressed
Yeah.
on the side.
Yeah.
So you don't need a middle one
Yes,
anymore.
Yes.
But if it's like somewhat flatter, then you need to.
You need the middle.
Yeah.
Because you don't have
Middle.
the pressure point that's pushing it to the
Yeah.
sides.
Because the roof up there is
Physics.
another bar
Yeah,
up there that has the
physics.
support,
Yes.
ma.
Or just massive beams.
Yeah, just massive beams lah. So like I didn't want to have beams in the middle of the house. I just wanted it to be like when I enter the house, I can see all the way to the end type shit. So I felt like don't need to tear down the whole thing. But like I think certain cases, like there's this huge ass mansion just down the road over here near Tadika. They're tearing it down. It's like I think 3 or 4 stories high.
Yeah.
That one really need tear down lah. That one's been there for like almost a decade and a half already.
But I think in reality, it's a choice. I don't think because obviously there's a lot of things to
Consider.
Yeah.
right? And I think if you ask me from my prediction, and I roughly can calculate that, right? If I actually tore it down and rebuild, it would probably be cheaper because I redid plumbing, electricals, my entire roof was redone.
I think your most expensive thing was what's that called? The sewage thing.
So
think.
I relocated the sewerage.
Oh.
So there was a lot of things. Basically, the whole house was gutted except I kept the roof trusses and the columns. So the general structure of it was just left there. The rest of it had to be redone. So including my front porch roof, because there was ponding problem.
Oh, shit.
So back then I think they just did an extension. So there was a bow in the flat slab. Yeah. So like like the flat slab that
It's bowing.
Yeah. So then they obviously my contractor tested and then they like this structure looks like they illegally or they just
Oh, shit.
they get some like random contractor to just extend lah, and then they didn't support it properly, so it's bowing, right? So,
Bowing means it's basically just like slowly bending
yeah,
over
so like in the
time.
middle it's just sagging, lor.
Sinking up,
yeah,
yeah.
it's just sagging in the middle. So then obviously my contractor just said you can keep it or we can try to support it, but I mean there's no guarantee
It will last long lah,
or anything
suddenly.
so yeah, you can just keep it, right? But I ended up redoing, so I redo almost majority of the things.
Yeah.
So you could argue, and my guess is that if I tore it down, it'll be probably cheaper, right? But the reality is also you won't rebuild the house in the same shape anymore.
Yeah.
So then it goes against what I believe, which you should respect the neighborhood, right?
True.
So my house is rebuilt in the same way, right? So I keep the roof trusses so that the shape of the roof is the same, the facade is the same, right? It's just obviously inside and the things around it is newer, lah, right? So it is painful. So there's a cost to even maintaining old things.
Yeah.
I think people don't realize
don't know.
that. Yeah.
But at the same time, I have to say, I feel like shit when they break the tiles.
yeah,
I was there, man. I was like, fuck, man. It's fucking sad, man. I'm like, oh, fuck lah.
I went there and see it as well. It was saddening.
It's
Like,
sad.
People don't realize I'm also sad about it. But
Yeah.
it's just that I don't know how to keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the parquet, man, they're ripping it out. It was like fucking clean, polished and shit. Just like chipping it away.
Well, how to keep, right?
Cannot keep. I tried to even. It's not worth it. Even the gates also, like in Malaysia we have grills.
Yeah.
In windows.
Yeah.
I thought like, oh, maybe I can repurpose it. Like I paint it and then I can use it as like a wall, a feature wall to show that this house is. Then after bro, when when we removed it the time you see the rust at the edges there. You're like,
Yeah.
fuck
Check it
it
out.
lah. Just have to throw.
Yeah,
already.
so how like I think refurbishing is something that people underestimate. It's just a lot
Yeah.
of cost and work.
If it's furnitures, it's easier
Oh yeah.
to refurbish furnitures.
I think even my cabinet also was quite trash lah. To be honest, I feel.
And sometimes the quality of it, like look, if it was a cabinet that is old, sometimes visually from outside you don't know inside
The
whether it's
inside,
solid
yeah,
wood,
yeah,
plywood.
yeah.
If it's plywood,
could be
sometimes-
hollow as
Yeah,
shit.
hollow. Yeah.
So like on visual on paper, if it's a photo, it's very hard to tell. So sometimes like people like, oh, you should have kept that, you should have done this, you've done like, but you don't know the real what is the actual condition of it. Can it be repurposed?
Can you care too much about the comment section? Ken? I have
No,
deduced that.
I just get a lot of comments. Yeah.
I just ignore only. You just gotta post and just leave. Just white noise. People's opinions, right? They don't know anything. They just keep going ham at it. One. Then they have like a whole conversation in the comment section, fighting each other, and you're just like, dude, what's going on?
But I love it when they fight each other.
I mean, it's good for visibility. Let them argue. Go for you.
Yeah,
bro.
but as the person who posted it, not healthy. It's not healthy, man.
Why?
Bro,
I just like to read it. It's just fun.
they go into personal things also on, you know.
Yeah.
They're like, bro, why your face got so many pimples? I'm like, wow.
Wow.
This is unrelated to the fucking topic already. But okay, man. If you want to go there, man, it's shit like that happens.
Yeah.
So it's not worth it. People are just crazy. Like,
But
behind the keyboard, they're damn brave. Man.
That's true.
Yeah. I want to touch a bit on AI actually. Because
Yes.
I know like slowly a lot of things have been replacing. So especially like in my career right now, in my job, I do events. And before this, I used to think like, I don't think AI is going to help me much also, to be honest.
Right.
But I think it's developed a lot in the past few years. I mean, actually, I think past few months, if you will.
Yeah, every month it's improving, right? Yeah.
It's insane. I can't even tell which is real, which is fake, unless you tell me it's fake,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know about you guys, but what do you face in interior design that is either helping you or do you feel like it will slowly take over you in ID?
I have not used. AI.
Serious shit?
I mean, in terms of my job, I have not.
Never used.
Never used.
I would assume it would be good for you to just use it as reference, right? To start or like give you
know,
a starting point. No.
Reference, Pinterest is the way. Go to Pinterest, man.
Is it?
Type anything, just
I use
beige
Pinterest.
bedroom.
I use
Yeah,
Pinterest a
scroll
lot,
through, yeah.
but I think
Pinterest a lot.
AI condenses all of Pinterest together.
But I've never.
Yeah,
never
probably.
used
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to go to use it.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I personally, for me, I never felt the use of it until like
You've used
my
it
company, like MEP, decided like my uncle was like, I'm just gonna subscribe to like 3 accounts. Who wants it now? You just let me know. And then like, I was like the first to say, okay, I'll just try it. Fuck it, I don't give a shit lah, right?
Yeah, you should try it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't care. I'll be the guinea pig, even if it slows down my workflow. Because my workflow is actually quite straightforward.
Okay.
Get client feedback, change the stuff, then go to
But
the
what do you
event.
use it for?
Yeah. What kind of things you do?
It's actually mood board. That's why I was thinking, I wonder what you do for
Mood board.
for mood boards and all that. Because like if I were to ask my designer to like, hey, can you just like do up some shit for me? First of all, designer's plate is full of shit because he's already doing confirmed stuff rather than like a mood board. I mean, a mood board for me would entail me going on Google, finding shit that is
Yes.
actually relevant
Yeah.
and like, oh my God. Whereas I can always just refine my search term when it comes to using ChatGPT lah.
I see.
And my ChatGPT is the upgraded version where it's like infused with DAL-E. So you can just like type in shit and like
Get photo.
generate. But unfortunately,
Oh.
even DAL-E also has its limits because like,
And then they'll start chucking the same shit again. that what it
yes,
is?
and also I don't know whether you guys have pushed it to this level, right? I generated so much, right? In like 1 hour, they're like, you have maxed out the usage. They're like, please wait.
They cap it, yeah.
Yeah, please wait for
Oh.
10 more minutes or 15 minutes before you can start generating again. So I was also wondering because in ID, normally a client would come to you and be like, oh, I want, let's say, Japan D. Right? And I know Pinterest is like the shit because that's what I
Yeah.
did for my place as well. Right?
Everybody uses
Yeah.
Pinterest.
Yeah. But I think ultimately, right, for example, if my client were to come to me, hypothetically, I'm an ID person. My client were to come to me, I'm like, oh, John, I want Japan D, but at the same time, I want like a garden in the middle of my home. I'm like, bro, fucking difficult lah, right? You know, I'm like, how am I going to render this shit? I have to find my 3D designer. I'm like, hey, bro, we have to do something. It's a lot of work
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
to render, to model and shit.
Yeah, to give a mood board that may not get you, it's not guaranteed client one.
Yeah. So you want to go back with options as well, right? So for me, when I go back to my client with options, I just fucking gen. Obviously, it's not the final product. I'm not going to be like,
But it's a good starting point, right?
yeah.
Never used actually. I mean, I get what you mean in terms of easy generation of pictures
Yeah.
to show the client. I've never.
Even concepts, actually, I feel.
Yeah, I think visuals, concept, even like the story behind it, you can get all of this done in a lot
should
shorter
look into
time
this.
versus traditionally.
Yeah, there's this Instagram page I follow as well. It's like useful websites that people can use, and like there's this literal AI website where it generates the PowerPoint for you, which is fucking
Wow.
mad. Yeah, you just drop in images, put in a paragraph of your concept, which you can actually use ChatGPT to create a fucking paragraph of concept also. So technically, it's 2 different things. You just put it together, then you just create. It's just mad. That I don't even need to do anything. I just submit that shit.
Yeah. Especially when like you're trying to churn out more like just general things.
You know, I'm just wondering with everyone using AI to generate shit, at what point will be like, shit, I've seen this from someone else.
Definitely lah.
Yeah.
But it's a reference to, it's not a final
Yeah.
thing. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like people, maybe we are at this point in our life that like AI is not perfect yet. I actually think it's gonna be almost the end of this year or maybe next.
I think it'll continue to just become better and better.
Yeah,
and
because it's automatic. It's just
Based on
self-learning,
usage,
right?
yeah. It's based on usage.
But I feel like it is never the final product. It can never be the final product because I think the main reason is clients just don't want to pay for a generated thing. They want to pay for a real service.
Yeah.
So if like you really look at it, right, I wouldn't want to trust AI to come up with a design for me. I rather trust an ID person, for now at least, to do a design for me. Because at least this person is smart enough to have experience in the past to do houses in a specific location in a certain way, and they know the wiring and whatever is a certain way.
But-
versus an AI just plop.
But what you're saying is basically what I think it's I think the role of the ID, let's say for instance in this case, like right, it's just different. Like you'll spend more time in supervision and project management rather than just spending more time generating images or 3Ds, right? Because I think eventually generating 3D will become a lot easier than what it is today,
Yep.
right? So I think it's just a shift of roles. And at the end, like I wouldn't go to your point and say I don't trust AI to do it. I think I would.
You
Like,
would
I would. Why not?
Shit, man.
If I can't tell the difference, is there a difference?
I feel that, okay, so this is what I feel.
Genuinity, I guess.
Yeah, no lah. It's just I trust the experience of the company more lah. So I think like, for example, if the ID company existed for like, I don't know, like say 10 years right? And they had a very healthy client base. And in fact, they had referrals before. Even I had a friend that used it before, like that Andrew's ID company example that he used. And then I were to have like, let's say a very specialized AI platform in which you can create designs. And this AI platform obviously is not going to be 10 years old because it's only starting now, right? I would be like, okay lah, I can't tell the difference. But realistically, if I'm pouring money into something, I'm like, oh,
You will
shit
still
lah.
have to hire the ID, but what I'm saying is that the ID's role become easier or it will shift, either or, right? It's either you do less or you do more of other things.
I think
agree.
what you said earlier, the starting point is easier, is definitely for sure. Because at least you have like, 'cause people don't know what they want.
Yes.
A lot of people just like, oh, I like Japandi,
Yeah.
but I don't know what I like.
But then basically the ID role become, is it feasible, the practicality, right? And all these other things become, because I rather spend my time talking to ID about the practicality of that design, whether it makes sense, the workflow, right? All these things is more important to me.
Yeah.
I don't care whether you spend three weeks producing that 3D design. I don't care.
Client don't think those things.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't care. Like you can spend 3 months.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. Like I care about the fact that do I like the design and how do we then
Function.
I rather get
Yeah.
your time spent talking to me about more realistic how to execute things.
rather than sieving through.
Yeah, because your work, your time is money, right?
Yeah.
And like I want to pay for things that I can see or has value to me, right? If you take one day to produce that same 3D, so what?
Yeah.
I don't care. Better, right? I pay you less, maybe, right? Your cost is
Yeah,
cheaper
yeah.
because you can do 2-3
More
clients, right?
concurrently.
So you can charge me less, I benefit, and I can't tell the difference. I just talk about, okay, this is the adjustments that need to be made because it's impractical, illogical, whatever, right?
It's just that one thing. Okay, with if you generate a picture, like say a room with AI, are you able to minutely change things?
It's not good enough yet.
Yeah.
It's not good enough yet. That's the only thing.
We give you a general idea.
Like for example, I was doing like water pressure for like the water pump, right? And then I was comparing both. Like I just wanted to generate me an image of a water faucet with high pressure, comparing it to a water faucet with low pressure.
Sure.
Doesn't really generate well. And then the hands look like shit.
Yeah,
and
that's
then the
why,
pipe is joined together.
Yep.
It's just not good enough. And even if you correct them, you're like, your hands look like shit. Please redo. They were like, sure, they sound very positive. Still look like shit. I'm like, it still looks like shit. Then after they will redo and then it's forever.
But because certain things are very hard for them to make the subtle differences. Like water pressure is very hard to see. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's same as like in a visual, you can't tell water pressure. Right? In a video, it's probably easier. Right?
Yeah. True.
Can tell lah, just do droplet lah, bro.
so-
you can search Google for this shit. So that's the
It's
thing. I
your
have frustration.
shutter speed to see.
Whatever.
For
I
the
like-
picture.
But I guess
My God.
that's the limitations we're talking about, right?
For now lah.
Yeah, for now.
For now.
Yeah.
Because once they can do video,
They can do video.
They can
So-
do it already, right?
like they do video very poorly, I'll tell you. Like photos are amazing. Like at this point in time, like AI generated video is still far, like it's still very far
choppy.
away. Yeah, it's still far away.
I
Like,
don't know, man. Can do. What was that fucking China? Bro, he showed it to me, right?
Yeah.
They were like clips and they were like, this is real. Then I'm like, oh shit. Then after this is fake. Then after they like, bro, actually it's reverse. I'm like, what the fuck?
Really?
Yeah, I can't even tell. It's
But-
damn mad.
Like, but there are certain things that's easy for him to generate. Like I think scenes are easy to generate.
Yeah.
Like, but
People, all that.
people and like movement and the
harder.
organic part about
Yes,
the
correct,
world is
correct.
harder to generate. So I think there's limitation, and video I think is still a bit back, but I think photos they're getting damn close.
Bro,
Yeah.
I was literally you, right? early of like 3 weeks ago, like on a Monday, I was like, I think photos quite good lah, but video not so
really
good lah. Then MKBHD posted some shit, right? I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot, man.
But you're only looking at very small sample size. Like you have to go try and apply it. Then you can tell whether it's good. So
I think I remember the scene now. So the scene, right, was a man in a train, and then he was saying that seeing the 4 seasons. So he was just sitting out the train, and then like I don't understand like he's just seeing a scene only. So it was like it was Sakura season, that type of shit.
Right.
He's just like look Sakura season. Sakura season fucking morph into like summer. Like, bro, I thought it was a real clip, you know.
Wow.
it looks so real that it's convincing that it's real.
I even
right?
paused it, man. I paused it. I'm like, the fuck, I can't even. The guy is not even real.
Oh,
The guy is not
Wow.
real. The train is not real.
So the whole thing
the
was
whole
generated.
thing is
lah.
generated.
Yeah.
Telling you, we're not real, guys.
Are we even here?
Yeah.
Existential as fuck. If Nick finds it, if I find it later, also I can put it. I'll show it to you all. But it's damn mad, man. It's damn mad. This was like 3 weeks ago. So like knowing now, 3 weeks later,
But
is
but
like,
that's the reality of what AI is, right? I think like there's so much progress because like the more money that's pouring into the whole
It's the investment in-
it has to move something. Something has to move what, right?
Yep.
Because even though there's a very inefficient spend of money, but because there's so much, it has to improve.
yeah.
It has to improve, right?
And also, I think it's also, you know how last time, I know we're off tangent a bit, lah, but you know on social media, right? Like you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram and all that, and they say like if it's free, you're the product.
yeah.
You know? I got a feeling it's not the case. I think now, right, what the product is, right, is what you upload. I think what now, okay, so if I was like Instagram, right, I don't think I can earn money off a user anymore because all I can do is ad spend. So I just show them fuckloads of ads when they go on stories and when they scroll through.
Yeah.
But what I feel now is I want to encourage my users to post. Because with more postings, I can get more information to feed this AI machine so they
see.
can learn more.
Yep.
So I think now, right, the currency is no longer like the user. I mean, not currency. The product is no longer the user, but I think the
Data.
it's the data. It's damn mad, dude.
Because you
Is that how they steal? That's where they steal all the different details.
Bro, confirm.
Yeah.
Confirm, man.
but you see you got see the study that says that like
Found it.
okay, let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Redo. Wow.
So this one is like obviously quite
It's
fake,
out,
right?
yeah.
Right? But like this one also quite fake lah. Ah, bro, dude, that's mad, dude. It's better than Henry Cavill in Superman
Superman
versus
with the
Batman.
mustache.
Yeah, dude, look at that. This is crazy.
Yeah, so
Hey,
good.
this is all AI. Both
Yeah.
of them. Oh,
This is all
shit.
AI. Yeah.
Okay,
This
some
one you can see. Some you can see. This is good.
and just note this is like this one's confirmed fake
This
lah.
is
but-
like a game. You can see. Yeah.
yeah, like,
This is like
the
Grand
camera's too
Theft Auto,
still.
yeah.
Camera's too still. Yeah, you see this one also is a bit too off. Like
Sounds
screens
okay.
are I don't see the back of it and all that. You know, it's too flat. But when it comes to like a simpler generated, like a human
Wow.
in a room, suddenly like bro, that panda playing the guitar is fucking mad. Even this girl walking in the street, obviously the bear is fake lah. His dick also is like ridiculous, right?
But it's very amazing.
It's like that guy reading. That guy reading over there?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, me.
Can I tell whether it's a studio or not? No.
I can't tell.
Yeah.
I really can't tell.
Yeah.
The only giveaway is his neck. And that's after you pause it for a long time, you realize,
That's
a neck
because you're
should-
trying to cherry pick what you see,
Yes,
right?
if you
Yeah.
look
You're
at
trying
just
to
at a
find out
glance.
why it's because you
His
know
neck
it's
looks
fake.
fine, bro.
But
Yeah.
if
I think it looks fine too.
if I see
not
it,
the one
if I see
looking.
it and I'm not trying to deduce whether it's AI or not, it will look real to me, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, right, you know Focus Point, the glasses company?
Yep.
If you go on Focus Point's Facebook page, right, all their images are AI generated now.
Wow.
Because they cannot afford to buy stock
hire.
images. They can't afford to like do shit, right? So like, let's say Happy Chinese New Year or Happy Riot and shit like that. It's just like people sitting around a table.
Yeah.
And you're like, when you scroll by, you feel like, wow, Focus Point cares about me. I like it. But when you open the image, right, and you see the food, right, the food don't make sense, one. It's the color that makes you think it's food. But
Yeah.
it's just like,
Nothing.
I don't know, looks like cotton candy,
Yeah.
but in a deformed way like that.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. Because I was doing market research for like glasses.
I'm pretty sure by now it'll be perfect. The food will look good also.
Yeah.
Maybe,
think
man.
so.
And this was like Chinese New Year early this year.
Because the improvement is
So
it's
rapid.
crazy. Yeah. The improvement is mad.
Yeah.
And obviously certain things they still do better than others. So I assume in certain things it'll be easier. Like even in that you can see that certain things are done very well.
Yeah.
And some are less well.
Yeah.
But it can only get better. That's the problem.
Because
right?
of the data you post.
You're giving,
Yeah, so like as long as you continue to feed this thing, the problem is whether once it consumes all this data, because obviously the thing is it's going through more data than the world is producing, right? It's kind of like the legit data, right? Like let's say information about things is limited by what human uploads,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So eventually you'll run out. So then at that point in time, it's limited by this upload. So.
Yeah, lor.
But at this point in time, you just continue to improve at an accelerated rate, right?
For now. Yeah.
It has
I
to
mean,
be.
but I
right
think
now
it's-
it's still combination of people generating fake images.
Yeah.
So it's more of a creation on top of creation, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
not just-
Like what's that called? Like memes and shit lah.
Yeah, it's creation on top
Like
of
GIFs,
creations.
memes, like 8-bit
But that's what humans on their own do anyway. It's like you design
Yeah.
something. It's based on what you've seen somebody else design,
Yes.
right?
It's a
Or-
remix.
Yeah.
Yes, it's an existing thing that you improve on.
Yeah.
That's what they do as well.
Yeah,
It's just that they do at an accelerated rate,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is that mad, man?
So to try and fight it is pretty stupid, lah. I think you
Nothing
can't fight
is
it.
nothing is original if you think
Yeah.
about it, right?
Yeah.
Nothing is.
True.
We all came from fish, right?
what the fuck?
Right. Yeah.
ID.
Okay, let's say something. Yeah.
Bro, I tell you, it's damn crazy, man. Some shit. Yeah, dude, look at that, man. That's beautiful, man. Oh shit! So you took
Oh, wow.
they took a photo. So they took a photo and then they give the layout and then they output.
Ah.
That is insane. Nick, how you gonna get a job, Nick? Nick is a 3D modeler.
I see.
Oh, shit, okay.
Yeah. So you
Like
how
how long would you take to
render?
let's say to render that
render is okay, but model is different. For him to model the chair, model the table,
Yep.
model everything.
You use what Blender, is it?
No, man. He's a 3ds Max motherfucker.
Ugh,
Yeah.
nasty. All the damn lines.
But I think Blender is also good. Like it depends on how you do your lighting and everything when you render it out.
yeah.
But like the thing is you don't need to model now. You just find models online. Then you just place it in. One important note is
Yeah.
talk-
Oh, really?
oh shit, you're using AI right now. So sorry.
So you can
guys.
cut his money,
Whoever's
yeah,
listening
his
right
cost,
now, right? Nick is without a mic. So Nick is saying he's using AI now to generate models as well. Shit, fucking hell, man. Actually, I feel so sorry for like a lot of image banks. Like
Oh, yeah, they're losing customers.
Dude, it's damn sad, you know. Like you go to Shutterstock and all that
Yeah.
Yeah.
to find images. Right now, right, I swear to God, right, you have to like put damn a lot of watermark, right, in order for you to preserve your high-res photo. It's impossible to read. You know now, right, on Photoshop, you can just literally take selection tool, you just select and click enter. Bro, you don't even need to type anything, you know.
Wow.
You just select that part that's the watermark and click enter, bro.
And they remove it for you.
And they remove it for you. In fact, right, they give you options, bro. Like for example, right, there's this huge ass like Shutterstock text on top of
Yeah.
like a
Watermark,
theater thing, right? And then they got SSSS everywhere, right?
Yeah.
I just select all, right, the Shutterstock and the SSS, right? And then I can just change that add curtain. Bro, they do it, you know.
Oh.
It's fucking mad, man. Even Photoshop has its inbuilt
AI,
thing.
yeah. They have their own AI inbuilt.
Yeah, and a lot of images, like, you know, when you take photos at the beach or whatever, right? And then you take like a portrait photo. What you can do is, if you want to make it a landscape photo, you just put it there and
Extend.
then
They
extend,
extend.
and then they will fill in.
Yeah.
And it becomes a fucking landscape.
Yeah, and it's like 99% perfect.
Oh, especially like flowers, you know, shit like that.
If it's things that is general, like, and there's a lot of data on it, there's no problem. Yeah.
No, actually, less data is better. So if let's say it's a beach,
Yep.
they fill in the.
Oh yeah, because what I mean is like, you know, they have seen
Oh, yeah, they have
millions
seen.
of images of beaches, right?
Yeah.
It's damn crazy, man. I swear. So for my life, hell yeah, it's fucking good. Because I send proposal to clients, I'm like, no, roughly this is how it looks like. I just tell them, so they sketch the left, they put a reference,
And then they combined it.
and then they combine the coloring and all that as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is this on, this comfy UI? Okay. It's damn wild,
Is this
man.
a paid?
No lah, I wish it was paid lah.
Really?
But it's damn crazy lah, I
Should
feel,
look
because
into this.
because currently Nick is working in a China company where they also are willing to invest in new softwares.
Right.
So, like for example, if I don't know, are you allowed to disclose where you work? No,
Comfy
okay lah.
UI.
So basically, he works in a hardware
Okay.
company that requires you to show content.
Oh.
What do you mean?
On the hardware? I'll give you an example lah.
Yeah.
If let's say he works for a company
Samsung.
that creates
Shows a
Samsung,
fridge.
or like a tablet or a phone, he needs to create like an animation on the phone to show people. So like obviously this takes a lot of money and time and
Yep.
effort
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But you can just generate like content to put on the screen. So you can
Yes,
show
yes,
people
yes.
how it looks like and that
Yes.
thing.
I see.
Right.
As he models it and it rotates.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
this type of shit, it saves you so much money, but at the same time it puts a lot of artists out of commission. lah.
Yeah.
But I think artists just needs to change the way they do things. I do think that it is something that is inevitable.
It's either you work with or you're
you can't just say like you don't, right? Like I mean, even I previously have like I have a designer who does all my visuals, my postings, like all these posters and crap, right? Like I don't have anymore. I don't have them anymore.
Oh shit!
Because you can do it on your own.
Because I'm like,
Generate
why is it worthwhile for me to pay your salary when I could also do it in a fraction of the time?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that's the reality. I asked her like, so why don't you just use this, right? Your output should be at least 5 times, right? But if you don't, then your relevance will become less and less because you stagnate, right? And then I could get my staff to do it on the side, right? For like on their free time, right? Why do I need to pay another person's salary?
Yeah. But I think that's the thing, like. I think you have to provide something that doesn't exist in the market if you were to be like that.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if you were an artist and like you can't even compete online anymore because posting shit online is just not gonna work. Like NFTs, like visual stuff. I feel like wow,
It's dying. It was good at last.
it was a thing lah. I remember like on the way to Mid Valley, there's this huge like fucking flyover.
Flyover
with the
signage, NFT. I saw it too.
When it's gone, right, I'm like, bro, I know the NFTs are gone, really, mate.
Yeah.
So I feel like in this territory in which you are going to be posting a lot of shit online as your quote and unquote like portfolio. I think maybe it's going in that direction for artists where like it's just commission based. You can draw a really like nice, I don't know, like a mock-up sketch or something, and then people just buy that because they enjoy it. Like you go to anime conventions, a lot of people sell their artwork that's printed. So there is the market. It's just that general designers.
It's a niche market.
It's a niche market.
It's a
It's a
niche
niche market.
Some people like to have handmade stuff,
Yeah.
There's soul in it. There's
I quite like
imperfections
that.
in it.
Yeah,
I quite like
maybe
that.
that's how like artists should go, right? It's just on painting on you do physical ones.
Yeah.
There's just no
Yes.
digital copy,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah.
Either way, the market will tell you if it fits or doesn't fit.
Yeah,
lah.
so like
Yeah.
whether
That's
you
all
can
it
find a niche, whether there's a buyer, whether it's whether people want it,
Yeah.
it's a different
Yeah.
story
Yeah.
entirely.
I think it's always been the case in some way also, right? Like if you buy shoes, like I like Onitsuka shoes, right? So if you buy the regular Onitsuka shoes and it's like made in Vietnam type of shit, obviously it's going to be cheaper.
Yep.
But then you buy like Nippon made in Japan Onitsuka and there's like obviously 4 times the cost that shit.
Yep.
But it's like, we only created 100.
Yeah.
Then okay lah, at least you
Yeah.
get like a very niche product in some way. So I feel like it's going in that direction. So now I know you don't use AI, Shah, you should just use it.
I
Dude,
should look into it.
Bro, it's
Copy
actually
UI.
it's worth paying your own money for it.
Really?
Serious. Because I never believed
look
in it.
into it,
I always thought like a free version will come. But my uncle was like, dude, you wait, gone lah you. So he
Yeah,
invested in like 3 accounts and I think it's damn worth it.
How much does it cost?
It's not a lot lah. But for me, I always thought like it would just catch up. It's like
It's like a
200 ringgit.
monthly subscription.
Yeah. Or you could pay like a package thing. You can just like Google how much ChatGPT 5.0
Or
costs.
family plan.
I don't think of family plan.
But
But you can just pull it
share.
out.
like
Oh,
Netflix.
everyone one
right?
account.
3 of us, you can sign up together, lah, right? One shot.
Yes.
I think it's quite useful in that sense that like even if you day to day, like for example, if like my wife doesn't know where to eat, I'm like recommend me a place to eat.
Do you
That's
actually-
new, that's
do you actually
Chinese.
type in?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, just type it in and then like I can just show her, hey, options, ChatGPT. Just
And
like
it's
Never
pretty
thought
good
of
one
it.
most of the time.
something new, something I never had before.
Pretty good.
That type of thing. You can always just fuck around with it lah. So it's quite cheap, man. See, whole year $200,
Yeah, 20
20
bucks
bucks,
a
like
month.
went to 100.
20 USD.
Per month. Lah.
Yeah, per
Yeah,
month
per
lah. So
That
mine
has
is
a price.
mine is enterprise one, I think. You scroll a bit.
Contact sales.
Oh yeah, mine was enterprise one. So I bought like three I think. Oh, but it's only 4.0. But it includes DAL-E though,
Yeah,
which is damn useful. DAL-E is what you need.
because image, right?
Yeah.
I
Image is what you need.
see.
So like when I do my PowerPoint decks as well, I want it to be like thematic. So for example, it's like line drawings, or if it's like circular, then I'll just like generate like 5 images of template background for me based on this color code. You'll do it.
I think your efficiency improves.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It has to.
But I know this is complete sidetrack as well. I know we're talking about AI and shit, but like this is the end of humankind, lah, guys. I'm just gonna say it, lah. It's fucking crazy, lah.
AI.
No, lah, things just changed. Lah. Industrial revolution,
Yes.
people think it's the end of the world. Fucking tech bubble, people
No,
think it's the end of the
Drew. But you
world.
see, this is you know what's the difference? The difference is right. AI already watched Terminator 2. He knows that. Okay, I cannot name myself Skynet.
I know, so we're
Number
gonna
2,
kill ourselves, right?
Yeah, we're gonna kill ourselves
Yeah,
because right. You think about it, right? Do you all want to get married? Do you want to have kids? Maybe for now. But do you think your kids want to get married and have kids? Probably not. They're like, wow, things quite expensive. And this is how humankind goes extinct, lah. We just don't
It
produce.
makes sense.
It
Possibly.
makes our life
It's-
so easy that we just don't want to have kids. That's my theory. I'm like, bro, this is how The machines will kill us.
Or maybe you just like, but on the counter, you could just live forever, right?
I don't think they'll let you live forever. I don't know, man.
The reality is, I don't think anybody can even predict what's going to happen. And I just think that like, I think the end is further than a lot of people
Really?
imagine. I think so.
You're so positive, man.
No, lah, it's way out on the horizon. Lah.
Yeah,
Global population is still rising, but it's only the developed nations
that is correct. Yeah,
where you
statistically.
see population decline.
Dude,
Because they preserve
know
their
what?
quality
Yes.
of life.
There's this lady, her name is, I think, Anne something. She wrote a book on how fast humanity can end. So she contacted
did.
a lot of consultants. She spoke to military people. Do you know, right? The moment someone clicks, like launch a nuclear weapon, the moment, like, so the guy clicks a button, launch,
Yeah.
it takes 72 minutes before the whole world ends. 72 minutes is damn fast, bro.
Yeah.
Because the moment it launches, there's no, like, you know how in Israel they have like that whole like auto targeting
Yeah.
Iron Dome
the
shit?
Iron Dome, yeah.
That shit does not help. Because when it hits mid-air, it's worse than when it hits the ground. So basically, right?
But maybe that's also what will save humankind. Think about it, right? The people who don't die.
Wow, bro. There's nothing to scavenge, bro. You nothing hunting, bro.
The thing is like I think there's a shot at it. You get what I mean? Like maybe population is also the problem. Who knows?
The lady's
Okay.
name is Annie Jacobson.
Okay, I need to go read that theory. 72 minutes.
Yeah, Annie Jacobson.
I do
That's
believe it's possible.
this is by LG.
Oh, wow.
It's an AI advertisement.
Whoa, what the fuck? Oh, but look quite shit lah.
Yeah.
No, this one.
Oh my god, it looks horrible.
Wow,
man.
he grew up in like 0.2 seconds.
This looks terrible lah.
But you must remember, it can only get better,
Yeah lah.
right?
Bro,
They will say the concept is cartoonish, you know.
I don't know how
Then the people
Koreans
will allow
make
it.
things look so shit.
This is how old is this video?
How old is this video, Nick? Last week open.
Early of the year. Where is it? 1 month ago.
13 million views though.
The quality is
Could be
still
generated views, Ken. We don't know.
Yeah.
You have about user 6958324. Bro, who knows, man? We are just a statistic. Yeah. Okay. I got just like 3 more questions, lah, but I don't know how long we will expand on this, lah, right?
Okay.
But okay. So, Ken, do you think as a homeowner you need an ID overall, like moving forward?
Yeah, I always think that like having an ID is better than not. But I think at the end of the day, there's certain caveats that I think like, you know, it's important to know. It's kind of like if you're already so sure what you're gonna do and your budget is small, why spend the money on ID? Because I think that is probably the only time I would consider not having an ID. Like let's say if I go into a condo that I don't want to actually, I just want to stay. And there's a lot of people like that. Like I don't really care about how it looks like.
Yeah.
I want practicality and I know what I want, right? Then you hire ID for what? Then you tell
True,
me, I
true.
don't need this, I don't need that.
True.
I don't want this paneling,
Then
I
no
don't want
point.
this built-in. For what then?
ID will question why hire us is such a simple job.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
but that is why I think like, you know, I don't think everybody needs an ID.
Yeah.
Maybe what you need is like just get makeover guys. Because they are your
Oh, that's true.
I wouldn't consider them an ID, but they are just like they're furnishing people
Yeah.
in general, right? Would-
Shit, actually, that kind of answers your questions, right? Like, is there someone that does everything? It's like kind of
Makeover
like
guys.
just go make over guys, lah.
Yeah, so like maybe that guy just wanna choose like makeover guys. They show you a tablet, right, and then you choose this sofa, this bed.
yeah.
Like you
Right,
order
this-
off a menu.
Yeah, then you just go to the kitchen side and then you swipe through the
Honestly,
laminates.
you can just do
right.
that yourself. You
Then
know?
makeover guys goes back, inputs all this into our AI platform. Oh shit!
So and in reality, I think these are the people who don't need an ID. Like, why do you pay? Like, why do you pay? Like, because what is like the minimum even to employ an ID? Let's say I get a new condo, right? Let's say 900 square feet, 2 bedroom,
Yeah.
2
That's so
bathroom,
specific.
right?
Sounds like my condo.
Because this is the most common.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Like whatever he got is probably
The
one of
unit,
the
the
most
layout,
common.
the
Yeah.
Yeah.
room
So
side.
like
I mean,
open plan living.
well,
So
yeah.
I'll ask you, right? Like, what is the cost at minimum to employ you to
do all the work.
do all this for me?
Minimum
Like,
cost, lah,
for,
obviously.
yeah, for your services, what do you think will be worth your time?
This is include all.
Yeah,
Drawings,
project management, everything. Yeah.
management.
So it's just an empty unit, bare unit, right? But you have to help me design my kitchen counter, like all this
Yeah.
layout.
What's the entry level cost?
Yeah. What like
That you would say yes to, right?
yeah, that you would say yes to.
For 900 square feet.
Let's say 900
2 bedroom,
square feet,
2 toilet,
two bathroom.
condo
900.
in Klang Valley.
In Klang Valley, yeah. You have to be specific because sometimes people ask, how much? I need how to answer. You get what I mean? Because they don't have context. You get what I mean?
That's true.
So let's say
True.
bare unit, come in, you design everything. I don't want to care. I just want you to ask me yes or no questions, right? I give you a brief. I show you a picture on Pinterest, like this is what I want. You,
So the client will be like A to Z, completer in apa semua.
yeah.
right?
So let's say in 3 months, I want my unit done, right? That's what I want, right?
What's
How
the
much-
minimum cost?
yeah? What's the minimum cost for you to
100 something, I think.
100 grand.
No,
Then
as in,
only it's
as
worth
in,
it,
no.
lah.
What are your fees?
My fee,
Yeah.
I would charge.
Like consultation fee only,
Yeah,
right? Just to be
consultation fee.
clear.
Like project management, whatever.
Yeah.
Because
Oh.
I don't care what, right? A lot of people is like that. That's why I'm giving you this example, right?
It's just basically you're asking only for the human service fee. lah.
For the ID fees.
Not more than 5,000 for sure. Lah.
Oh,
So-
is it?
Yeah, yeah.
But do you think it's worth your time if you let's say you charge me
If
5K?
it's a small,
Let's say my budget, I tell you, okay, let's say it's 80K, right?
50K,
Yeah.
the budget
Total budget is 80.
to do all,
Yeah.
that's not enough.
So maybe it's
not
definitely
enough.
that. So
It's not enough.
but then I tell you I don't want to deal with it. So you
Yeah.
you help me achieve
Okay,
this,
can.
right?
I would say what you can achieve with this amount, your budget 80K, I can only deliver this room or this room.
Oh,
Fair enough.
okay.
But you think on your end, I think you say minimum is like 5K lah, right? You help me deal with it
Yeah.
lah. So but maybe you can tell me, oh, maybe you need 120K, right?
Yeah.
Then okay, fair enough.
Oh,
I
It's
would
not
say,
enough.
I would say,
Yeah, it is.
80K is
80
not
all
enough.
in, not enough.
But that's the usual thing that the client will say.
I would
Yeah,
say
yeah.
you can only do this much. I know some company they do 1 room, 2 rooms. Some won't accept like do half.
But
no.
but that's the reason why makeover guys is so good at it because they have packages
Yeah.
like that.
Yes.
Like
Oh.
really like because they're meant for short term,
Yes.
right? They're not meant for long term.
Yeah.
So
What do you mean by they're only meant for short term?
investors buy the units, they want to make over, they want to rent out.
Okay.
So let's say countertops.
it's a basic shit. All
yeah,
the basic
it's
stuff.
just like
all the bare minimum
wallpaper,
Yeah.
like it's this
They
cheap
want to make it look
materials.
Airbnb-esque.
Yeah.
They know 2 years later they're gonna refurbish
Yes.
it. Like it's no point paying for quality
specific.
material.
Yeah, because you know you're gonna rent it out. They're gonna damage it.
It's the fast fashion version of
Yeah,
renovation.
yeah. No difference, right? And
Oh.
but I think that is why I asked her, it's like, so as a homeowner, let's say I'm on a tight budget, what is the minimum it would need for me to get somebody to help me do this? And it's
Yeah.
whether it's 5K, like would you pay 5K? You would, right?
100% I would.
100%. I think
pay 5K.
confirm would it like 5, 10K? If my budget, let's say total, I want to spend 100,000, right? Which is a very common budget, I
Yeah.
think, right?
It's nothing.
Yeah, like paying
Something.
10, I think paying 10% of your total budget to an ID, it makes sense.
Because
to
they
answer
coordinate
question.
your shit together.
Yeah, 'cause
Yes.
you know the amount.
Yeah, the more headache you
Yeah.
get to go through,
And I
no
don't
one
know
wants it.
shit, what, right? Like, and if I don't know shit, like, it's better I get somebody who knows their shit to deal
100%.
with it, right?
Yeah.
I want to only decide on things that, I want sofa 3-seater.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
And you don't think about how much the contractors will contact you to get shit.
A lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
They call you. I've been there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they call me
Imagine-
all the time.
Yeah.
Anytime.
And you, as a full-time worker, you have other shit to settle as well.
Yeah,
you don't
man.
want constantly your
Yeah.
contractor ask, you want ini tile macam ni ke? You want ini lay like this ke?
Take photos sent to you on WhatsApp, 20
yeah.
different tiles. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. As if I can tell via my phone like that. Your camera look like
Exactly.
dog shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. They take some videos, like, oh, this
Yeah.
one okay or not? How to tell?
His video
Yeah.
look like some kind of porno camera. Oh my
VGA
god.
camera, yeah.
Bro, it's terrible, man. I've been there, man.
I think-
But I also think it's also strange how we are like that in Malaysia. Because when I go abroad and when I see people in like Australia and in the US, they are damn do it yourself.
Yes.
They are so, I feel
Because
we are so spoiled.
In the
because their
US, the
wages are
house
too
is
high.
easy lah.
Huh?
It's kayu, nice, senang potong-potong. Here,
Yes.
all concrete is hard.
It is that's also what we are used to, our methods of construction. I mean, it's purely also, I think partly because labor is cheap here. That's
Yes.
why we
Yeah.
end up with
Yeah.
the
Big
construction
factor.
method, right? So I mean, irregardless, I think it's a lot more challenging to do like concreting work versus like, how overseas it's just like timber and like
Hey, but they do
additional wall.
concreting too, man. Like I've seen people who do their own pools. They dig it up, then they concrete, they put
pools
tiles.
cost so much.
But
here.
but
I know.
it's in reality, I think they probably get a contractor to just do that for them.
Oh, yeah.
So, but then I've seen, you're right lah. Like they can raise walls and stuff like that. It's
quite mad, bro.
They don't mind doing it. The DIY culture is good.
There are some DIYs on TikTok who does it, like concrete laying themselves. Those, if you don't have any other things to do in your life, yes, you can do it.
Yeah, I watch those videos.
It's so time consuming.
I doubt
so entertaining to watch.
But I doubt it's cheaper.
Is it?
Yeah, of
I doubt it's
course.
cheaper.
Oh.
Because it's just doing it for fun.
Yeah, probably they enjoy it also.
I think in the likes of Australia, it might be cheaper to do it yourself.
Because labor is
the
extremely
wages there are
expensive.
way too high.
Dude, you know,
it doesn't
I
make
have
sense.
I have a family friend. Her name is Hazel. So she's a Malaysian, but she got married to a Kiwi, a New Zealander,
Okay.
and she doesn't live in town. So she lives like maybe a half an hour to 45 minutes away from Auckland, main city.
Yep.
And she said that, you know how much it cost me to paint my whole house? It's like 12K, I think, 12 to 15K.
Yep.
I'm like, wow, dude, how big is your house? I'm like, not that big, man. It's about terrace house style, you know,
Styles,
two-story
yeah.
type thing. I'm like, 12K? That's damn mad, man. Then she's like, why? So how much was yours? So, bro, you know how much I paid to paint my whole house? Because
Okay.
so what happened, my
4,000
contractor,
Yeah,
for sure.
5,000. Yeah.
bro, my house, right? They painted it one coat, you know.
Aiyo.
So the contractor, he painted one coat and not one coat, like one color. And I was like, I hate this color so much, man. Like, this is so shit, man. I chose wrongly, lah. And I was like, just let me know how much, lah. Just change the color, lah. So I just wanted to go back to white. So all I wanted was not completely white, but like beige.
Like off-white, yeah.
But I chose too yellow, and it
So
looked
too
like
warm.
Yeah, it looked like dog shit, lah. Basically,
Okay,
the
yeah.
house like wow, damn bad. So I spoke to my contractor. I'm like, Mr. Lee, can you redo or not? He like, can I do for you, lah?
How much?
He didn't charge me. He's just like, I do for you, lah. It's okay, lah.
Mr. Lee's the man. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Even though that one tile still haunts you.
The triangle.
No, it doesn't haunt me. I put a cupboard. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's just the thing when I do the push-ups. So I just don't do push-ups.
Like he has his benefits as well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Like and in reality, I think a lot of contractors are like that. Like, and if you get a good contractor, you try changing a few things or you test a
They're
few things.
okay.
They're okay because they got buffer, right?
Yeah, you think the charges that they charge you don't have extra in there?
Yeah,
For
for
in
sure.
case you want to change your mind?
For sure. Like you know, like my paint, the guy go and buy how many sample paint how many times the wall just for me to see.
Wow.
Right? And did he charge me more? No.
Damn.
And for me, it's like that experience is so much better than imagine like the guy say, you want to try, Ken? This one $500.
You know, it's
I go buy the
he's smart
paint.
doing that because laying down small patches of colors is better than painting the whole wall and then client say, "Ayo, I don't like this color."
Yeah.
So contractors are like the good contractors are very accountable. They know that if this is something that you once I do, you very hard to go back. They will make sure you go. Okay,
Made decision.
Yes.
I do sample wall. You come look. Right? How many contractors do that? I can tell you most people don't.
No,
Because if
man.
you pick already what? Because
Yeah.
I know on WhatsApp you already say okay this one
One
is
is
yours.
colour,
You
yeah.
appear,
Yeah.
offer wait for you.
Yeah, man.
Right? So good contractors are worth every single cent. I do believe it.
Yeah,
Because your
man.
experience is better. Like most likely the cost will be very close one. Actually,
Yeah.
at the end of it, right? It's very, very close. The difference is not as big as you think versus the first quote.
You know how like long ago in standard 5 and standard 6, when they give you a piece of like, you know when you do English and Malay at the end, right? They give you 3 products. And then the product is like cheap, medium, and expensive. Do you all remember that shit?
Yeah.
Then you have to justify your decision.
Yep.
You know? And ultimately everybody chooses the middle one.
Yeah.
Because it's like the most things
Safe.
you can write about. I feel like I have applied my life in the middle ground most of the time. And every time I choose the middle ground, I always am happy with my decision.
Yeah.
I always go like, I just fuck it, just pay a bit more. You know? And you pay a bit more. I'm not saying you need to pay premium.
Yeah.
You pay a bit more.
Yeah.
You end up being damn satisfied. And
Yes.
I always just go back to that, especially
Yes.
after the house thing. I'm like,
It is
I used
true.
to
Yeah.
It's
medium.
true.
Yeah.
That's a saying that we say to our dad all the time. Buy cheap, buy twice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Always.
I mean,
Buy
unless
cheap, buy
you
twice.
really intend to buy twice, then it's okay.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, it's true.
There's nothing
It's
wrong.
okay.
There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong
Yeah.
with it. I have a question though. Like, so when do I need a QS?
QS, when there's a lot of costing in terms of buying your supplies.
Like, do you guys suggest it or like
No,
normally
no,
the
no, no.
clients? Let's say I'm renovating my house. I'm almost tearing it down now, right?
Yeah.
Would you suggest me to get a
Yes.
QS?
If you want to make sure your contractor don't cheat you, yes.
Oh.
Right. So I think this is something that nobody
Yes.
considers, or very few
Yes.
people consider.
This is coming from my own family, my parents' experience. We did not hire, we minta tolong our cousin who's a QS.
How much would it cost? Let's say I get so what correct me if I'm wrong, right? I don't know the flow. So let's say I get a quotation from my contractor, and usually a big part of those quotations are lump sum numbers.
Yes.
So let's say
They don't specify per
so
item.
let's say I say, okay, do flooring, tiling, right? They put total square feet,
Yes,
maybe
yes.
just the tile model, and then total 60,000 ringgit, right?
Yeah.
So, and this happens a lot in many
Yes. Many
the
construction
whole
work here.
the whole BQ looks like that. It's all lump sum
Yes,
numbers.
yes.
Like, how much would it cost for me to hire a BQ to just break
What's
it
a
down?
BQ? Sorry.
Bill of
QS, sorry.
quantity.
QS.
Yeah,
BQ is
a
a
BQ is
bill of
quantities, yeah.
quantity.
Basically, it's a breakdown
Down,
of
yes.
the items
cost.
and the cost.
Yeah.
So let's say this door is this price, the handle
Yes.
is this price, the lock is this price, the
Yeah.
painter is.
So
all
you
this
pay
limit.
someone to basically
Yes, that's
itemize.
the QS. Yeah, that's
So
the
the QS job is to then break
They
down
know how much. Okay, per bag of cement, how much?
Oh shit.
And then they look at your flooring. Okay, this is a square feet, and usually this is the amount of cement you need, water, sand. They do all the calculation for you, and they'll say this is the price, and then you check back with your contractor's
They have
price.
a standard. Basically, they follow a standard.
There's a market price
pricing,
that
yeah.
you should know.
So wait,
Yes.
how much would
Very
this
interesting.
service cost on?
I don't know actually for QS
I
because
think this is something that a lot of people don't talk about, right?
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Because
For
you
a
can.
big project, I would suggest like if you want to build a huge bungalow,
Yeah.
get it.
You need a
But even if you
sufficient
don't,
scale.
because I've seen people like I just spoke to one of my friend. He said he was redoing a double story terrace like your house. So the first quote he got was about 490. And then after that, so 490K, right?
Damn it.
So then he
Hello.
So here's the funny thing, right? He also got a lot of lump sum numbers. So he got his friend who is a
To check
QS
it.
to come out with to the
Breakdown.
detailed breakdown. And then the contractor changed the total amount to 800,000. Yeah, it's from 500 to 800.
So he fucked up
'Cause-
lah,
so-
technically because you asked the QS,
So basically,
higher.
all this balance 300 will be in VOs, which is variation orders for
Yeah.
basically all the add-ons. Because when you don't specify, the contractor just assume, you don't need that. So let's say you want a door.
Yeah, they get you the cheapest
They get you
possible
the cheapest door, probably like the cheapest lock.
handles.
Then
your
maybe
ironmongeries
it's
are
just like
cheap one.
it's just painted.
Standard
Yeah, I
one.
mean. So, but what you have in your mind is not that,
Yeah.
right? So, but when you go and tell him like, hey, I don't want this round lock.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
I want a handle.
I want a
one.
handle.
They
you
will
know what I
say,
mean?
okay, this cost is coming. It will come with a standard.
But
handle,
what is standard?
everything.
Your standard and the contractor's
not the
standard
same.
is not the same,
Yeah.
right? So if you do not specify, at the end, what will happen is when you ask him to hey, this is not good enough, right?
VO lah.
VO, okay, one door, you add another 500
Yeah.
bucks, right? I'll
And
give
it
you what
adds
you
up
want.
lah.
So this is where the extra 300K comes from, right?
Shit, man.
But so if you want a real quotation, it's very unlikely you will get it from the contractor
Contractor.
direct.
Yes.
Because it's easier to win projects if my
Lower
thing is
quotation.
lower. So like
Yes,
let's say
yes.
I get two contractors, you guys, right? If you give me 500K, you give me 800K.
Of course I
go with
I
you.
consider you first,
Yeah.
right? I said, okay, like let's negotiate, right? Like you out of the question, right? So that's what usually
Yeah,
happens,
yes,
and I think
yes.
that's a problem.
Wow. Actually, it's the same thing in events, you know?
Yeah, it's the same,
It's
exactly
the same thing. I think it's a Malaysian market problem.
Yes.
Once everyone wants to save.
Actually, it's a free
In terms
market
of-
problem, isn't it? I'm sure it happens everywhere else.
Do you
It's
think so?
dollars and cents, lah, right?
I mean, who wants to spend more if they can
Yeah.
save?
I guess it wouldn't happen if you're in an economy that's absolutely booming, lah.
I think stakes also actually, maybe it's the stakes. So for example, right, like if I were to do a very large scale event, I give you an example lah. If I do a large scale event and I do a very small event, normally the smaller events, I go through this process. The lower bid wins. Usually, not all
Yeah.
the time. I
Yeah,
just want to say
yeah.
that. The larger scale events are suddenly, right, they're like, bro, how much? You just give me realistic. And normally, with large scale events, and I'm talking about like 1,000 packs people, okay? They'll be like, I think I go with either the middle or the high tier. They don't go for low already, one.
The low is
wanna
too
fuck it up.
risky.
Yeah, it's too risky.
It's
already.
too risky.
Yeah, so like for example, right, we're going to Japan end of this year. That budget is quite a big budget, right? So that one, no questions asked, right? They went with the highest one. Because they're like, I don't want any hurdles. It's a different country some more.
Yes.
That's the reality. When you pay more, you can easily expect more.
Yeah.
And I think
Yes,
this needs
true.
to be negotiated with the person and the contractor. I picked my contractor. My contractor was the most expensive. And like the contractor I went with for my home was, I think, 40% more expensive than the next two.
40%
Yeah,
more.
40% more.
But you can expect more. You can say that I
So-
pay you this much.
yeah.
This is the quality I'm
I
getting.
said to him, I
you know?
said, like, you tell me why I should pick you. You are by far the most expensive, right? And obviously, like the good thing is I already know his quality, right? So I'm just like, tell me, right? You tell me what is missing from the rest. Because I put down all of them, right?
Oh,
wow,
you
you
show.
show.
Because I already know I'm going to pick him,
Yeah.
right? But I say, because I also want to learn, right?
Yeah.
Here are the other quotations. What is missing from them that justifies this 40% like extra?
Was this a sit-down meeting?
Sit down, yeah, with my architect and him. So I sat down and like I just said like, look, I get for due diligence, I get multiple quotations. Although I'm not gonna pick you, right? But you can clearly tell because you can learn from the fact that what is missing from this
true.
rest of these quotations, right? And you can just tell that when it's a lump sum, that's where you can hide
Yeah.
Yes,
like
of
lower
course.
quality
Of
things,
course.
right? So when the longer the BQ is, the better it is. I
Yeah.
always say, right? Like if you see one part of your house got a lot of lines,
That's
it's
when
good.
you know it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't just tell you door 1,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Bad.
man.
Yeah. So I think this is something that you learn over time, and I think most people, the problem is most people will not go through this. That's why I think it's important
No,
to get
man.
a
I
handy to
would
do it.
suggest.
Yeah.
I always tell people go through multiple contractors. Ask for different quotations. Don't just see one. Okay, I think the price. If you compare, like if you ask around and people say, "Oh, this is a cheap price," no, don't. Still go find others and compare.
I'm not defending this, and I totally agree. And I feel like I feel like, so I've known you for a long time already, Ken. I know you are the person that's keen to learn.
Yeah.
I know Ken is that type. But a lot of people are not in that position where they have the time,
Yeah.
nor do they have the allocation of brain power to process this like whole learning phase, right?
Yep.
So I know a lot of people who are successful in their industries have like an innate personality in them to do certain things because they feel like either I like to learn or they feel like I need to grind to do something or some shit like that, right? It's just their personality. So I feel like you may will do that one. But I think if you work in a corporate setting and you work with like a bigger, larger entity, company, whatever, right? More often than not, your responsibility is not like to output the best. That's the problem also. The KPI is not about like, oh, I want it to be 90% best. I want people to rate it 5 out of 5. It's not that.
Yep.
The problem I think with the KPI across all industries is how much you save. That's the problem. Because when you look at marketing budgets
Yes,
and
it's
when you
true.
look at like even F&B, I feel,
True.
right?
And that's why I say doing reno for my shops is completely different.
You see, it's always like monetary at the end
Yeah.
because KPI is monetary, not quality.
Yeah.
That's why when you look at Japanese shit, it's different. The quality is always like top tier. It's the It's the priority.
The KPI is the quality.
Yeah, it's the KPI problem in this country, I feel. It's just inherently so. That's the thing. But if you switched it around, and you have like a rating system like Singapore's toilet in Changi, right? Confirm can.
Yeah.
You need to have a screen there, bro. People
Yeah, I
tap-
also got. It's just the screen damn grimy.
Yeah, at least you try lah.
At least you try.
But it got better.
That's my happy
But don't,
smiley face,
but don't
sad
you think
smiley
it got
face.
better?
I genuinely think it got better.
Yeah, okay.
You should try
I
a
haven't-
test. Everyone goes there, even though it's clean. Just go like bad, and see whether it goes.
They put higher priority. They definitely put higher
I
priority.
wouldn't even touch the fucking screen. It's next to a toilet, dude.
But that goes to show how clean the screen is too. Like is there
You
a
know,
sanitizer there? next to it
Imagine the
also?
whole
Whoa.
bathroom is clean, but the screen's grimy bad.
But I think it's a KPI problem in this country because
For
when I meet different clients as well, I can see it. In fact, right, you know what's damn sad, and I'm not shitting on my clients. I just want to say it lah. Okay, I've had clients who are not my clients anymore because when I go to them and I ask them like, "Shit, I just want to be very real with you lah. What's your KPI? Is it really to meet the budget or is it really to
Yeah,
output a good event?" I just want to ask.
Yeah,
And they
I
will
think
always
that's
tell me.
That's a good
Budget.
question.
Yeah, I always ask them this, like, do you want me to go above the budget or not? I can give you a better event. And they will tell me, yeah, I think you should do it. But then when it happens, right, and I submit them a better idea, right, they don't go with me. I'm like, I know they're full of shit. Right? Because I know for a fact, right, that when you look at financial year of that company also, right, you can tell if it's end year, they're trying to finish the budget. So they can like, oh, next year I got bigger budget. That's shit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right.
And when it's the beginning of the financial year, they're a bit conservative, like, oh, I think I better.
Cautious, I cannot overspend.
So when I ask these set of questions, I can kind of tell this company, for sure, right, depending on the time I ask them, whether you can work with them long term or not. Because their KPI is completely different. It's not about a good event, really. It's just like I just want to get it over and done. Yeah, I want to get it let low.
yeah.
So I can flex to my boss.
You're always talking to a machai at the end of the day, ma. The machai just wants to do his job and
Yeah.
go home.
Yeah.
Go see his wife and kids. That's it, bro. It's
damn
not
hard.
that complicated.
Yeah, but they don't have an honor like I want to do like Japan lah. You know they want to. You know
If I do, I do properly.
They don't have because they don't
He
care.
probably has been in that job for too long that he got stale. So it's like,
Young, I feel like freshies that come in have the same thing. Because the
Really?
older will tell them just faster, do lowest possible go.
yeah, true.
Yeah, it's damn sad. It's a cultural thing. So when you find a client that's really damn good and they tell you like I expect this, actually they really don't look at the bill one. Most of the time, that they come to me, right? They're like, I can trust you all with a good job. They normally like just go, it's okay.
But that's
off.
true. Like the clients who are willing to pay are usually better clients.
Yes.
Right? Usually.
You would think it's the opposite.
Yeah, you would think it's the
Intuitively.
opposite. Yeah, but actually it's not. Yeah, I mean, same as I say, like, for social media, people who are willing to pay me are usually the better clients. They're usually more flexible. They actually truly believe in what you do and
They
the
don't
value that you bring.
nitpick at the little thing.
Yeah, they're not going to negotiate, because the moment now I realize
It's
like the moment
true.
he negotiate, I just don't do. Because if you're going to negotiate on it, then I think it's a budget problem. So I think we're just not aligned.
The one with budget problem and picks on a lot more things, they don't really have the budget.
Yeah.
So even though they say, oh, we want a lot of good things, but then they start looking at problems to pick. That's where they want to slash some
Yeah.
costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cari pasal je lah.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Like, I feel like, if you know the market is like that, right? You just gotta slowly adapt, or you gotta find a way to like maneuver through it.
But there are always going to be all different kinds of like the customers and clients, right?
Yeah.
Like it's always there's a mixture of it.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're good, then you can pick, right? Like in the sense that a good paying client can pick the best ID, the best contractors,
Same thing.
Yes.
right? It's the
Same
same
thing. It's a partnership because they know already. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Versus like they're just like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Most of the time, when they're not sure, actually they also don't really know what they want. It is what it is, lah. But you just gotta. I feel like the strategy most of the time, if for me now, is you go in with a lower quote. That is the reality of it. If
So
it's a new
yeah.
client,
It is.
That,
Going to
that's
low
exactly why it still happens, right?
Yeah.
Because it's culturally like that.
It's
Unfortunate, but the truth.
what really happened with our project as well. So the carpenter that my boss uses and recommends, he's really good. He's the kind that say, I think you should do this way instead of that way. The one that suggests. But we opt for, because his was like almost 100K or something.
wow.
Yeah, to do just the windows, shutters. So we're like, okay, never mind, we opt for someone else. So this someone else was so shit, so bad that the cost end up almost
More.
matches the 100K.
Very often
Yeah.
it ends up like that.
That my mom keeps saying, I should have just gone with the guy.
Yeah, because you
Probably
wasted
gonna-
time,
Yes.
energy,
Yes. The
emotional.
frustration, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Those things. It's actually money as well that you don't consider.
Yeah.
It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
And like I can tell you, like, especially if it's like a commercial lot, like for my shops, it's like imagine 1 month rent, right? It's like this, like you never get perfect, right? You want fast, you want cheap, you want good way cheap and on time.
Yeah.
You never get all.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You gotta weigh that triangle
Yeah,
out.
the triangle.
Very, very likely, like for me, like commercially, like if I do a shop, imagine if he delayed me 1 month, 2 months, right?
Wow,
if my
that's your
rental
revenue.
is 30,000 a month, right? Plus the staff that I have to hire, I can't just say, we'll start you next month, right? I'll start you 2 months later.
Doesn't work that way, man.
Right? So I probably have to pay a salary anyway, right? So let's say the cost is like 50, 60,000 total, right? A contractor that I pay less, that delays me for about 1 month.
No bueno.
Yeah, so you think about it, like how confident are you in that person executing it is also equally as important, right? And very often it goes back to the same thing, right? The cheaper guy, very unlikely he'll keep his word, right?
Yeah.
So-
Because he also technically is like, it's just a small thing. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no skin in the game. His profit margin is probably super slim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Any excuse he gets, he's gonna go.
He's gonna use it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also like overall, we can go on with this forever, right? It's just like a top-down thing, allocation of budget. Because of Malaysia, allocation of budget when it comes to a big brand, this is the fuckfest, right?
Yeah.
It's just that we are in this spot in the world where we are like that. I feel like in the past it was quite different. People are willing to ball. But now I think it's like,
It's after COVID, you know?
you think
People
so?
are
Was
now-
after
yes.
COVID? Actually, yeah, true.
Yeah,
lah.
it
2018,
is.
2019, our sales and everything was like mad dog, bro.
Yeah.
I can't even walk in my office because of the amount of hampers, bro. It's mad, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, but after COVID, I feel like prices is such a price war.
Yeah.
It's such a price war. But it is what it is. Just
Every
gotta
industry is the same actually, I think.
adapt. Is it?
Yeah.
I think so. Same. Same.
It's just- Yeah. Actually, right? It's I don't know I'm not to say this, but basically a lot of hotels, a lot of event venues and all that come to me as well. They say it's the
They
same
need
thing.
jobs.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a global problem. I don't think it's isolated to Malaysia.
It's
Malaysia
think
a
it's a
global.
global
It's a global.
I
for sure.
think it's a global
I
problem.
agree, For I agree.
Although maybe Malaysia may face it more in certain sectors, but I think in general it is a global thing. Like across all my businesses is slower.
Mm.
Economically, it's poor.
Yes.
People got not much extra money to spend.
Yes, true.
And yet, you see some guys out there suddenly can buy third car, fourth car. I'm like, bro, what is going on, man? I don't know. Lah. Maybe
I mean,
you just see
it's
the...
a small percentage of the people.
Yeah, but you only see what you want to see, I guess.
Yeah. It's very hard to judge.
Yeah. Okay, I don't have any more questions. But Ken, do you have any more questions? I'm Gucci Manucci.
Let me see.
Hold on. He saved a few questions as well prior to
No.
this. 'Cause I just want to consolidate my thoughts, right? I don't want to come in like guns are blazing. And then I don't even know what I'm talking about because sometimes like conversation is so good. Then you
You
go to
get
that
so
point.
into it.
Yeah. But did you feel a little bit pressured when you came in and you started speaking?
No lah.
No, it's quite chill. Bro,
mean,
a couple of
to me-
people will come in, they're like, oh, fuck,
Really?
fuck. After that, they get loosey-goosey, then it's
I
okay.
mean, ID, there's not much of a like under the table things that you should takut, you know.
You think so?
Yeah. It's just basic unless
I think
it's-
mostly contractors.
unless it's like the giant ass mega projects that I mean
Yeah,
if
it's
more,
true. Yeah.
It's
But
more
like if I ask you
random.
about pricing, will you tell me like what's the average like? Give me a
People spend.
percent. Like how do you charge? Like how do IDs normally charge?
I know
Like is it based on percentage, square feet?
some
or-
take up to 20%.
20% of the
Yes.
overall project, usually.
No, overall project. Yeah, I guess overall project.
I see. Because it's scale also, right, of the project. And it
Yeah.
entails a lot of management
Yeah.
depending on the scale.
Yes.
I see.
20%.
But like, where
That's
is
the
like
basic.
like for a new homeowner, right? Like where is the easiest space that you think you can save money for them?
themselves.
Yeah, so like
To
let's say like
Buy your
Andrew is
own
doing-
lights, buy your
Oh.
own paint.
Why?
Those things, you take some percentage in charges.
Ah.
Find your own tiles.
That's what I did for my place.
Do it
Found my
yourself.
own
You'll
tiles.
save for sure.
But like versus you doing it for me, like won't I expect you to do it for me?
Yeah,
Right?
but you think I don't charge for my going here and there for sourcing?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like
I would. I do.
okay.
I think it's also the balance, right? Like earlier you were saying there are clients who find their own suppliers. Or would you rather
Yes.
trust them with their suppliers?
Yeah.
I think it's like you gotta find your balance in that sense. Like for me, I sourced everything myself.
Yep.
You know the
So-
quality yourself
Yeah.
compared to your contractor buy. From where I don't know what quality. Don't know. You can ask. You can tell them buy this
Yeah.
for this brand. Yeah. But
And
they
I-
say higher lah cost.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't mind doing it actually, although it may be contrary to what you believe, you know. But I
Yep.
think it's dependent on the situation. So if I was doing it for my own home, I would probably ask ID.
Yeah.
But if it's for my office and it's like day to day type of shit, I'm like fuck it lah, save money, bro.
Yeah,
Then I go
yeah.
and do it lah. You know that
Yes,
thing.
yes.
But I
This is
think
gonna be wear and tear.
there's an expectation that the ID does it. So I think like for me, it's like I'm willing to pay more for an ID
Yeah.
if like you're willing to do it for me. So let's say okay, I'll contact this this tile supplier, right? This order you make payment separately, and then that is what I value. You get what I mean? For you to see, okay, this one I think more expensive than normal, right? And then you say, okay, let's say this toilet bowl, sanitary supplier, right?
Yeah.
Say, hey, this one I think the markup high, right?
If
order
you
yourself.
you mentioned what's his name, the
Makeover
makeover
guys.
guys.
Yeah,
They charge extra a little bit on
Definitely
the fans
lah.
that they buy, the lights that they,
They
buy.
mark up lah.
They mark up.
Definitely
Okay.
lah.
Buy it
Yeah.
yourself. I
Yeah.
always tell you know you can just Shopee and buy.
Actually, it's
This
but then
is
you have to
just
coordinate to
easier.
receive.
Correct.
Like,
Yes.
Yeah. But honestly, I think what Shah says is true.
You think the savings is
It
worthwhile?
is worth.
Okay.
Like for example, right? Recently, I bought a new aircon.
Yeah.
Okay. And like before this, when I bought aircon, I like fuck it lah. I just buy 3-star, 2-star, whatever, and then I pay for the fix and everything and all that.
Yep.
Then I found out right online is damn cheap,
Cheap.
man, for the same model.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
I'm like, what the shit, man, including warranty, all that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I think you have to kind of have that battle with yourself. Like if you want to cut costs
If
for the
you're
aircon,
willing to, yes.
yeah, you
I think you need to like have there's a better way to do this in balance lah. I feel you have to segregate the things that matter versus the things that
Yes.
don't.
Yeah.
The things that are inconsequential in your view lah, whatever that line may be. I think you pass it to the ID, let
Yeah.
the fella make a markup. It's totally cool.
Yeah,
Don't
yes,
worry,
yes,
right?
yes.
But the meaningful purchases, the ones that occupy 30-40% of your budget, maybe
Yeah.
you do yourself. You coordinate once or twice. Maybe
like
that's
fridge.
Yeah.
maybe that makes sense lah.
You know,
fair point.
those things, as an ID, sometimes people will say, okay lah, you just buy lah. But we have had a client, we bought them a stove, and they go, I don't like how it feels.
Are you freaking serious?
Serious.
And then how?
They asked us to get another one.
They pay lah.
And then they buka dia punya hood. Oh, too loud lah.
Ah.
Ayo, how?
You
We're
mean
not in
after
charge
all
of
these
it.
things installed?
Yes.
So you give them
shit.
earplugs,
Yeah.
bro. For free
I mean-
gift is earplugs, bro.
So
Oh my God.
from that, we're like, next time appliances, client cari sendiri. Because
Yeah.
it's preferences.
Yeah.
Sometimes people
Correct.
are so picky about those things. Some are.
I feel
Yeah.
like that one, that client, no offense, the fella is just trying to find nitpick.
Problems to cut costs, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly
That's
speaking,
like a dick move, right?
that's 100% a dick move,
Yeah.
bro.
We even call like the technician.
Is there
so
something
they
wrong?
say this is normal sound.
Yeah, man. This type of shit is nitpicking, confirm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think electronic appliances, I feel like you should choose. Now that you say that. Like fan, bro, choose your own fan, bro.
You
Yeah.
you don't know the speed. Sometimes you're like, it says 3 speed, but it feels like 2 speed.
Yeah, you gotta get your own
you
fan.
have to-
Fan and aircon is like my harshest lesson, bro.
But to be fair, if you do new, a big part of the cost is the wiring, all of the ducting and all these kind of
Yeah.
things. I think that is you can't just compare lah. Like sometimes
Yeah,
people ask me like, hey,
compare. Betul.
why I buy it on Shopee is like 1,000 ringgit for 1 horsepower, let's say lah, right? Why my contractor charge me 2,000? I was like, but that one include all
Yeah,
the rest
all
of the
the
things.
rest of the things.
You cannot
Yes.
you cannot just put your aircon
Yes,
there and then
true.
like
Unless you can install your own fan, you can install your AC. Then another thing lah.
there's labor and there's also
Yeah.
like cabling, wiring, whatever, right? Like you can't just you buy a fan, let's say it's like contractor charge you 600. Maybe it includes the wiring,
Yes.
the fan hook,
They will check.
right? The switch,
Yeah,
right?
everything,
Whatever,
they will
right?
service.
To put
So-
it together.
Yeah.
So you can't just say you go do yourself, right?
Yeah.
And how you going to do it? So,
You buy and then you get someone to
so then you get them
fix it. Install it for you.
So it's either you get a contractor to rework the whole or just labor, installation, plus fan
Yes,
hook,
yes.
plus wiring, right? Whatever, right? So like sometimes then you add up the cost, it's like you rather let this guy organize all this for extra 50 ringgit per fan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Maybe. Right?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think at the end of the day, the difference is not as big.
Yeah,
Especially
it depends.
Yeah.
Just do your pros and cons, I suppose,
You
in
could-
terms
you
of
should-
the costing.
You just gotta go back to that compare
Yeah.
cheap, medium,
Yeah.
and expensive
Are
thing
you
again.
willing to pay that 500 extra for all the services to install and everything? You don't pening kepala cari orang
Yeah, so
lain.
you just anything you just what's up?
Yeah.
This thing not good,
Yeah.
fix,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but I think the biggest pro I feel is that we live in Malaysia where you can do it for actually honestly fucking cheap.
Yes.
Like honestly, you want to compare to overseas,
Yeah, true.
you want to go. You know what I found out in Singapore, you can pay $100 for someone to change your lamp, your light bulb.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bro, 100 SGD to
yourself,
change your
man.
light bulb. Bro, 100 Sing dollar. My friend was like, bro, actually, I think I just work in Singapore, change light bulb. Fuck it, man. I change 10 a day, only enough already.
You go to Australia, the same thing. What? Like he come and inspect just to see only what's the situation. $100 one.
You also pada just to inspect 50 ringgit.
But 50 ringgit is
that's-
nothing.
Yeah, it's cheap.
You have to always look at it as a percentage of the nation's median income.
Yeah,
of course.
true.
That's what's meaningful, ma.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah. Well, the Singaporeans are dollar also trashing
Yeah,
the shit
yeah.
out of us.
Yeah.
2x the number.
Yeah.
But they won't change light bulb, bro. Got service for that, you know?
Sure lah. I mean, whatever lah. But
Because
these guys are also
Maybe the
loaded
ceiling
lah,
is
you
very
know.
high lah.
But on
Now
average,
everyone has
because
the staircase, the ladder for it.
Or for them to pay 100 is okay lah.
Okay lah.
Yeah, for them.
Really.
Yeah, for them it's okay.
Average income in
It's like
Singapore
us
is like
saying-
4,000, 5,000.
Yeah. It's like us saying RM50 je, you know. To them it's like RM100 je.
But then I wonder what's the hourly rate in Singapore right now.
Can you Google that? Our hourly wage Singapore.
Median income I think is about 5K Sing lah.
Yeah, but that's different.
Because I like to
Bro.
measure hourly rate. It's kind
3.5
of like I feel like livability in a country depends on like the hourly rate.
Ours is what, 10 ringgit, 88 cents or something.
No
like that.
lah, like I think less
13
lah.
Huh?
Hourly
I
rate,
think
7 ringgit or
I think
something.
7, yeah.
No
I think closer to
way.
No,
7.
check lah,
yeah.
7 I think.
Min wage is 1,005, right?
I think
Hourly rate is,
Right, 1,005 divided by 160.
yeah, about there.
That's less than 10.
it's
if
7
I'm
or
not
something.
mistaken,
If
it's
I'm not
closer to
mistaken,
7.
Yeah. I think I've Googled it before. I think
But
it's like
look,
7 or something.
I would just take, let's say McDonald's or Starbucks number, right? Like McDonald's probably pays like, I assume still around $6.
No kidding.
Yeah, like except if you're in the city, then maybe a bit higher.
It's
But
not
like,
even minimum wage.
but
I think they have to comply with
Singapore is 10.50 per hour, 10 SGD per hour, 9 to 10.50 lah. Okay. What about Malaysia, bro? That's insane, man. 10.50, that's so good. 10.50, you can buy a proper meal. You can buy 3 meals, man.
say 7, yeah,
7
That's
ringgit.
fucking ridiculous,
I've Googled this
man.
before.
it's 7.
That's
Like so, you think
ridiculous.
about it, like the guy buying coffee is 2 hours of work. Like you buy like a cafe black coffee,
coffee,
it's
yeah.
like freaking like 2 hours of work. Versus like in Australia, for instance, right? Like
You buy 4 coffees for
yeah,
1 hour.
they buy one coffee for $6. Their hourly rate is like what
20
20-ish.
That's
So it's
madness.
like it's like 20 minutes of their
nothing.
time.
Yeah.
Like they work for 20 minutes, they can buy
can
one
get a
coffee. That's why
coffee.
everybody buys coffee, right? But
Time
in Malaysia, like
That's why everyone mocks you when you buy a coffee.
Compared to buying
yeah.
a kopi
but
peng.
I think that this thing is still 1 hour of work.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
yeah.
So which is significantly higher than majority of places. Look at Singapore, right? Coffee is about $6. Right?
Yeah, more or
Cafe
less.
coffee, right? Cafe coffee is about $6.
They
And
still they even have the teh peng and kopi peng.
that is
option
cheaper, right?
too,
So
yeah.
let's just compare like, Western coffee, lah, right? Which here I think on average the cheapest you get maybe $10 at minimum. So it's 1.5 hours work. For them it's like, if you ask me, it looks like it's half hours
an
work.
hour lah.
Yeah, half an hour's work. So like I think that shows how far behind we are in terms of just like living standards.
Yep.
Like coffee should not be a luxury. That's what I believe.
Yeah,
same,
definitely.
It
same.
should not be a luxury. So I think that shows why Malaysia is suffering in certain places or segments.
Isn't this because of like majority of the country is ineffective rather than just this, like Singapore, which is majority of the country is effective? Like if you look at the majority of the country, we are not really churning out what our potential can reach. That
I
type
don't
of
know what's
thing.
the numbers like, but like possibly true. I don't know.
I think MJ once said somewhere like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, MJ. I'm sorry, but like he said the GDP of KL is actually similar to Singapore
Oh really?
Oh,
Okay.
really?
of KL. Yeah. So
Okay.
if you spread thin, obviously like. I don't know. I'm not shitting on like Pahang or whatever.
Yeah.
But like if you spread it out, like we're not very effective lah.
Right.
If the majority of the country is effective, then obviously things will get better lah. Because that way only you can achieve that higher rate. Right?
Yeah.
Fair point.
Yeah. So we're just not effective lah. But we got a lot of land lah, I guess. It does
It's
look at the
like-
brass things.
It's not utilizing the land though.
Yeah, it's just not utilizing it. Yeah. You know what's funny in Japan? Like I think 80% of Japan is not livable. You can correct me. You can Google it.
Yeah, I heard something like that before.
Yeah, 80% of Japan is not even livable.
Oh.
It's like mountains and like harsh terrain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels
But
right.
they make it right.
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys want to shout out your social media profiles? Anything before we wrap up? I really need pee.
Yeah, okay.
Shit, man.
We're good.
You're good?
Good.
Yeah, we're good.
Dude, thank you guys for coming on.
Have
No
fun.
problem.
I
Thank
appreciate it. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
It's quite wild. I wish I had this podcast before I did my house.
Me too.
Yeah.
Everything is a learning.
Yeah, life is a lesson, lah, I
Yeah.
guess. But you were saying what? 2 renovations in your lifetime? Most people?
I think so, right?
Now only one lah. How much? Fuck 800K. That one. The quote. Fuck me already lah. I'm stopped already lah. I stay in Millers forever lah.
Yeah, so you see, probably then maybe one more time in the future if you have family or what. I don't know.
Yeah,
Right?
down,
no choice lah.
down,
They're just
far,
gonna sleep in my
down.
kitchen.
So I think 2 is probably the average. Would you
The
think
second,
so?
yeah, I think so.
Two?
The first one is when you first purchase your house,
Yeah.
your first house, and the last one will be when you're retiring.
At least one more for you,
Oh.
minimum.
For sure.
It's okay, I learn something every time. I mean, even if so lah, right? You're only going to do one forever, right? At least if someone come to you, at least you have like heads up for them lah.
Yeah.
Or you can
I
just
guess
send them
so.
this link to
Send
this
this link
podcast.
lah,
lah. Yeah.
Watch it,
All right.
subscribe.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks guys for coming on.
That's
I
good.
appreciate
Alright,
it.
no problem.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Oh wait, you got to post your camera, got to do thumbnail. Woo. All right. Thanks guys.
Right.
All right. Dude, good podcast.